week on the track, both for the Crows and also for Richmond. They were genuinely surprised, the Tigers, that Aaron James came up and made his way into the side tonight. So we'll go back to you, Bruce, and hopefully we'll speak to Gary Ayres very shortly.
How do milestones? Thanks, Hutto. Milestones work. Nigel Smart, the first to get to 200.
Well, they've all got around him and said good luck to him, and you pump yourself up for it a bit, but once you hear the whistle blow, it's the same old scene again. Let's have a look at McLeod there. He's the man they really want to be firing. If he can play more in the middle than on the half-back flank, where he's still dangerous, they're going to be in good nick. Rashudo, who's been in form since about 2 weeks before their first win. Goodwin is the bloke... well, you talk about teams that have their second tier of players. They need to stand up. Well, Simon Goodwin is exactly that. He stood up.
Well, Gary Ayres is with Hutto right now. Anthony.
We're real happy with the way they're going.
And how many points?
42, I think, tonight.
42?
Going to be a real big win.
Well, I reckon you might be dreaming, my friend. Lisa, you've from Fairview, South Australia, you've made the trek over?
Yes, definitely. Go Crows.
Go Crows. How many points?
6 tonight, I'd say.
6 tonight. Well, I like your betting, I reckon. 6 points, 42 points. Jace, back to you, mate. Looking forward to a terrific one. $50,000 up for grabs.
Thanks for that, Tipper. As we see Bassett, whose brother played Notton's at full forward. Let's have a look at the tail of the tape. And you'll see that there's very little between them in terms of much of the match is up, except the marks are very much in favour of the Tigers. The start will be all important here. High stakes, as we said at the start of this game. Knights wide, run down the back, and Bickley's quick kick away, back to the centre, and Gale's got it. Big stakes here. The Crows can make a move towards the 8, and Richmond can almost shore up their position. Otten's on the lead, had a bit of it. Bassett worried him out. He looked as if he might have been legged in the end, Bassett. Ball still to be won. Hart getting involved. Dragicevic coming out. Handball by Stenglein. Gets to Rashuto, who's going to be a most important player again tonight. Bounce over the top of Goodwin. Terrific hip and shoulder on Campbell there, coming from
Campbell's
Bickley.
hurt, guys. Campbell's hurt.
Thanks, Tipper. Yeah, it was Bickley's hip and shoulder. Back to centre wing. Gale, who's had a bit of it early. O'Loughlin. Tigers through King. Back to Andrew Kellaway, to Mark Chaffee. He's at half-back, gets it wide, dangerous kick. Chance for Connell. McLeod can finish it. The handball down low. Vardy's a good shot, turns and kicks a goal. The first.
Well, laid that across the body then. I thought he might have straightened up a little bit. McLeod just seized on the opportunity. But, look, I suppose Chaffee's been very good all year, Jason, because he has taken risks. For this point of the game, he's just probably bitten off a bit too much there.
Yeah, there are times when you have to weigh up, Dermot, whether that risk is too great, and early on in the match, this was the wrong option. He actually, if he had have turned around and gone the other way, he did have a loose man. In the end, it needed to be a pinpoint pass. Wasn't taken, and Peter Vardy is extremely dangerous around goals. A proven goal kicker up forward, the perfect start for the Crows.
And Goodwin has put his hand up once again, and he is taking Wayne Campbell, so he's following him around the park this evening.
Gale getting over the top of Biglands. Knights and King, who's been very good. Back to Biddiscombe. Bit up and under to half forward. Tigers, Tawney. Tawney's got a good chance here. He's 45 out. It's a good kick. He's kicked it. Jason Tawney.
Well, probably not the sort of man you expect to kick the first goal for the Tigers, but he's bobbed up and answered very quickly. That's what the Tigers needed to do. And it certainly looks like being a wonderful battle in the middle at this stage. The Tigers just on top. A couple of quick kicks from Craig Biddiscombe earlier, been very good. And Tawney just very quick to get to his feet. A brilliant little dummy there, and then slotted it through from 45.
At this rate, we're looking at a 60-goal match, gents. I think it might slow up a little bit somewhere along the line.
Gale and Biglands again. So all square here. Vardy and Tawney. Vardy, you'd expect to be kicking goals. Tawney, an unlikely source for the Tigers, but a good finish. Bigley's little towboat. Stenglein caught off by Bowden. It's going to be a key duel. Good hands coming from Crow there to half forward. O'Loughlin overran it. Perry in front. Rashudo did well. He got held up. He's milked it for everything, but he's done really well here, Rashudo.
He certainly made sure he can go on here. There's nobody on the mark. This will get him inside goal kicking range.
Steady, 48. Good looking kick. It's close. think it's a behind.
Gee, that's sloppy, letting a bloke that's just outside 50 run inside 50 and have a shot. You've got to make sure, particularly with a player of Prosciutto's calibre who really has good range on the kick, and you've got to keep him honest on the mark.
Cameron. Normally a fantastic kick. Tawney a target, Stenglein at the back. Goodwin to mop up and then accelerates through. Little kick's a beauty.
Well, you might call it a beauty, Bruce. I'm calling that extremely lucky. I don't think that hit the target it was aimed for.
Okay, Phil, I'm not going to argue with you on that.
I think he just...
Go on, take him.
Well, I think
he looked like he stumbled a little bit as he kicked. He just propped. Oh, that is not intended to go there. But luck's a fortune, playing in front.
I come from Adelaide, so give me a break. Crowd to have a shot for goal.
Can he kick it? How's the boy go?
Well, Jeremy, I'm not too sure, but...
he kicks it.
He kicks it pretty well for goal.
Hey, what you got there? You been digging?
Sunday.
You got a ball? Huh?
Meeting the family was never meant to be like this.
These are human bones.
I know, that's my Uncle Pinto.
It's a family reunion on Dharma and Greg Sunday.
And more laughs at 8 o'clock. Dick's a little confused.
Are you out of your mind?
No, but I'm out of my pants. Between fantasy
So sexy.
and reality.
Join the rest of the evening.
I am, I did, I will. Oh, thanks.
Rock Sunday, eh?
So the Crows by 7 points here after the Crow goal. Biglan's that time gets over the top. Stenglein and Bowden again. Good contest. Prosciutto through the centre. Floppy old kick, but gets some distance. Marsh front spot. Did really well and kicks a behind.
He recovered pretty well, the big fella, didn't he?
Actually went through but was touched off the boot, and Wayne Campbell comes off to receive a bit of treatment. I think he's got a problem with one of his hands or his wrist. Perhaps a finger injury, I'm not quite sure. We'll get details of that shortly.
Well, he copped that bump. He might have even got a bit of a cork thigh out of it. Dipper called he was hurt and he limped for a little bit there, so we'll get the big fella on the job. He's done every other job going around the universe in the last week.
Yes, welcome back from Dilly Dipper as Cameron wide. Gale the target. Biglan's got up high and then Connell rushed it a bit. He didn't have to kick it quite so quickly and Marsh has taken a good mark in the end. Well, the Crows have started positively here.
Absolutely.
They have. Andrew Kellaway just got drawn a little bit underneath the ball there. He needed to come back another couple of yards. He perhaps lost the floating ball. You see, he thought the ball was going to land where he jumped, but it ended up drifting behind him and Marsh took a good grab.
King kick a ball. We saw him in Sydney last year on debut where he kicked a couple of long goals. He's 50 out. He doesn't bother to get close to the man on the mark and just hooking it for a behind. So the Crows have had some chances here.
And the physio on the bench is checking Wayne Campbell's shoulder at this stage.
Right.
So Marsh a couple of behinds. Prosciutto missed one. So what's Campbell got in front of him?
Well, we have a look there. He's got players inside the centre square. Gasper's right up the middle. Most of them are just waiting to the left-hand side of screen. And that's the way he goes. He's looking for Knights. He picks out the two smallest blokes on the ground. They don't let him down.
And King was away in a hurry. Tawney's got it. The Tawney at centre wing, long and low. Otten's held on to, play on call. Hart getting back. He's such a great mop-up player, Hart, and normally extremely constructive. Out wide, Connell's handball was poorly directed, and he's now going to have to chase it hard himself. White gets it back to Ottens. Must have been out of play. Boundary throw-in.
And Bruce, you'll notice that the Tigers players are wearing black armbands tonight. That's in respect to Des Rogers, the grandfather of Tigers champ Matthew Rogers, who passed away. So obviously our deepest sympathies to the Rogers family.
That's for sure. James to Nigel Smart. So first time the 200 game man touches it and goes with a long kick. But Gale's read it better than Biglan's and takes a good mark at centre wing. Goes inboard to Chaffee. It's been good, Chaffee. Kicks to centre half forward. Doesn't quite get that far. Gee, Holland's attack was impressive. That's a terrific mark.
Otten's one out down in the square.
With Robin. So has there been a switch there because Bassett had him earlier?
I think he's just found himself out at the moment.
And didn't get there, Robin, did he? Couldn't make the contest, and Otten's always had it.
Yeah, got away from him too easily. Matthew Robin very much is a player who needs to be in motion. And I'm surprised a lot of forwards don't take him down to the goal square and lead off him more often, because he actually needs to have his body running in motion from a standing start. He's not real good off the mark. And as was shown there by Ottens.
It was left for Bickley, wasn't it? So it was a mismatch. Nice soft kick in the end from Ben Holland. Campbell, so they're working on his leg. So
and he's got an ice pack on his shoulder as well, so he's in the wars.
That's a good bump up in the first minute then, isn't it?
Got him top and bottom.
Ottens from about 48, 49. Keeps it low. They like it.
He's a good kick for a big fella.
Holland, and Bassett's gone back to Otten. So the Tigers within 3 points. Knights, Tawney, Gale. Well done in the end. He's able to sort of squeeze. Oh, that's a good mark by White.
Super mark. He just reached over the top of him and grabbed that. Was never in position to take the ball then, but he kept his eye on the ball at all times and just reached over with the long reach. That's a brilliant mark.
Playing just his second game, James White. Debuted last week.
Take a very good kick from about 55.
Going to have a go, I think. Low. It's going pretty close. Ottens gets a touch, but it was going through from behind.
Tell you what's going on down that end also, and there's a fair bit of, I suppose, a compliment being paid to Dragicevic. I mean, Ben Hart normally picks up the best defender other than the big key forwards, and he's gone to pick up Dragicevic. Goes short now, finds Goodwin, I think, in the back pocket, goes to Beefy James, just inching it along here.
Kick to centre wing, Biglands. Stenline almost got in his road. It's been impressive, Biglands. Keeps it low to centre half forward. Perry's the target and got him.
Now this bloke can mark the ball. He's a bit scrubby by foot, but if he does get it right, Jace, they do go a fair journey.
Yeah, well, he's on about, well, a slight angle, not quite 45 degrees. But the kick coming in from Biglands just deceived everybody. Yep. It was low, but it just had such penetration on it.
Carry on it, didn't it? Now, he's not a real pretty kick. But as I say, he can get a bit of distance with it, if it hits right.
Got 52 out. He's kicked that very well. It's going close. It might have just been a behind. So Perry with a point. Crows have had some chances early.
Leon Cameron to kick back in. Let's have a look what's ahead of him now. Well, the Tigers, they haven't got anybody within about 40 metres of goal, so it's going to be a distance kick here. So he's got to spot it up pretty well.
He does it off 2 steps too, Leon Cameron.
Yeah, I know, he hits them so well. Gasper's going out to the side. He's going to play. Well, he's given himself space. Every Richmond player dragged the zone out, so he's given himself space to play on.
Gasper, and Perry in the front spot. Chappie, now McLeod. About 80 metres from goal. He decides to go long to full forward. Vardy's outnumbered. In fact, Royce Vardy's in the front of Peter Vardy, and he takes the mark.
You're going to be in awful trouble, Bruce, if that contest comes up too much tonight.
Yeah. There'd be a law against it for your race
that's
caller.
Dangerous.
Well, Bowden, is that out in the full? Bowden it is.
Unfortunate.
He was stiff because he actually kept it in, didn't he? And then it came down on his foot, and Stengline's got it in the pocket.
It was a poor kick from Vardy. He actually forced himself into it because he moved to the side and the umpire called play on. Gee, that is stiff, isn't it?
Yep. What he's got to do is just actually be in a running motion before he breaks. Otherwise, you've got to screw him around.
Well, he needed a freak bounce, and he got a good one, but not good enough.
See, the thing with that one is if you're going to bend it across your body like that, you've almost got to run straight towards the centre of the ground and pull it across with a big hoik. If you want to drop punt, you've got to be in motion pretty well somewhere near about 70% pace. So he was halfway in between, wasn't he? And the kick was never going to make it.
2-5 to 2-1. So Cameron getting plenty of practice, and he normally does this pretty well. Gale's got it at half-back.
Notice then that the zone, Richmond came in close to Cameron, so there was space in the zone.
Well, Vardy slipped. Bowden to mop up, but puts Bitterscombe under the pump a bit. That's a good kick to Hilton. And Hilton's got Kellaway on here, and he's drilled it down to him at centre wing. King running hard for him. Kellaway decides to go inboard. Poor kick, and Robin's got it. And he'll burst away.
Loose players everywhere.
O'Loughlin. He's got 2 on here. If he moves it quickly, he sort of missed them a bit, missed the moment, and then kicks into the centre to Stengline to Rashudo. Rue decides to go for it, and he too misses. And the Crows are 2-6 here, and they've wasted a lot of this, and the Tigers are 2-1.
Had plenty of ball, haven't they? I mean, they've been far superior going inside their own 50, and yet they only hold a 5-point lead.
Tigers have been a bit sloppy at the back, haven't they? That one's okay to King from Bowden, and then pushing wide, and Chappie's a good runner, we know that. It now sits for him. and decides to go high to full forward where they've got Ottens and Holland. Rodman makes a big fist of it. Bickley on the ground has to go and give it up. Knights has got some time, gets it back to Tivendale, who kicks a superb goal in the pocket. Well, one into the other, what a contrast. He's lost Campbell early, and Gary Ayres out the back there with the coaching staff, including Darryl Hart and John Reid in the front. So the Tigers hit the front, Biddiscombe to full forward. Their heights a worry up forward. Well done, second effort by Bassett. Otten's had a bit of it, Dragicevic. James playing deep to Smart. Smart's kick wide to Stenglein. Bowden with him, running out of play. Let's see what happened to Wayne Campbell earlier tonight, Dipper, and you let us know exactly where he's at.
Yeah, right there, mate. Exactly there. He's definitely done his AC joint. We won't be seeing him back on the ground. Also received a cork in the right leg as well. So the Tigers will be missing Wayne Campbell tonight.
It's the full Monty, isn't it?
Well, the double whammy. Bump. See that ball when it went out onto the... Oh, there's one pulled from nowhere. That space over there, the ball almost plugged when it got kicked out there before.
Bickley's kick. Perry, it is wide. I think Perry might have touched it before it went out of play. It's a bit soft and muddy out there.
Just had to roll it in so much, haven't they? The Tiger streak. Last time Richmond won 7 straight, as you were saying before, Bruce. Rounds 1 to 7 in 1995. So they're on a roll.
And that's the only time in the last 18 seasons they've made the final. So the omens could be good, but they're a couple away from that 7 in a row. They're sitting on 5. Vardy getting it back to fall forward. Perry makes a contest, doesn't he? Connell working in the front spot. Biddiscombe all over him. Well done at the back by Royce Vardy. That was terrific to Knights, who gets it to Tawney. He's already kicked a goal in this quarter, and he might fancy a second here. He's got up to 50. Hart didn't go for him. Hooks it a bit in the end and misses.
Yeah, Jason Tawney's got a big job tonight. He's picking up Mark Rashuto, and Rashuto's had 5 touches already, but what Tawney's trying to do is not just tag him, he's going to try and hurt Rashuto going the other way. He kicked the goal early. He was really trying to rub salt in the wounds there by making Rashuto think, hey, I've got to be answerable to this bloke because he's just kicked a couple.
Big Lands comes off the ground, and Scotty Welsh goes on to full forward. So Big Lands moved out of the ruck. Marsh is having a run in there.
Oh, Bickley, that's a terrible mistake, and he's going to give a goal away. Knights will stroll in and kick it. The Tigers lead by a goal and a half. Tawney's been okay. To Bowden, playing off the back half to Biddiscombe, who hooks back towards centre half forward. Goodwin, good contest against Tivendale. Rodman back to James. Good handball wide to McLeod. Finds Marsh. Makes very few mistakes, McLeod, when he gets the footy. Then Marsh on the burst. O'Loughlin and also Perry. Perry the target. Hilton getting back. O'Loughlin to put the tackle on him. And then Hilton finds the line. Does he? No. Perry kept it in. Back to Vardy. Gets it back in board. To Crowd to fall forward. Worked underneath Welsh. And Goodwin kicks a goal from the back.
We talked about it earlier, Bruce. Every team has their second tier of players who are just in the middle group when you grade each player at the club. And you need these blokes to come up and jump up a level each year, at least 1 or 2 of them. And Simon Goodwin definitely is one boy at the Adelaide Crows who has done that.
Well, Tivendale got one at the other end, Derm, and Goodwin's playing on him, so he thought, well, if I can get one back, I'll leave in the ledger. And he ran a long way from half-back to get there and hit the pack at full pace.
Third kick for him already. Guess we got a poke in the eye there, I think.
He's had some problems there this year, and he just looks out of sorts there, doesn't he? 4-2-3-6, so the Crows get one back. We've had a bit more of it than the Tigers, but they do trail. Edwards got it to Smart, who gets it wide to Goodwin, and then Goodwin wide. Perry's certainly giving them a target. He's a competitor up forward, and Vardy able to force him to the line. So Welsh, and now Gasper's got Welsh. So bad news for the Tigers. A real bloke, Campbell, won't be back, as Dipper's told us tonight. Half forward left. Crows attack here. Tigers lead by a couple of points. Front spot, Vardy. O'Loughlin. Good tackle, Vardy. And then Cameron back to Vardy to Daffy. First time we've really seen him. Hilton trying to work it to the line. Well played. I thought Vardy was terrific in close there. Number 42 for the Tigers.
Some interesting matchups out there at the moment, Bruce. You mentioned Nick Daff. We haven't seen too much of Nigel Smart.
Smarty's got him.
On him on ball at the moment.
Yeah, playing on the half-forward flank at the moment, Daff, and just running himself on the ball, especially when Campbell came off.
Chaffee. Ooh, Stengline collected him. Smart was pretty good. The handball's sloppy, and then Knights was clever. Smart to have a second go. Can't quite get to it. Stengline. Smart played on Farmer 2-3 weeks ago. And he's got Daffy tonight, so I guess it's not absolutely out of the question.
He got down low, which was the key thing there, so he didn't give away a free kick.
He's a big kid, that Stengline, for a winger, isn't he? 189 and 90 kilograms.
Marsh giving the free kick away to Holland. Just got him over the shoulder. Holland at half back. Not a bad crowd here.
High 20s.
Yep.
Push 30.
Ottens. Well done, Tivendale. To Bowden. Ottens under the pump. Robin was a good tackle. And Bowden and Chaffee. Stengline. Terrific stuff.
Oh, no.
Well, he's unlucky there.
I thought he twisted him and turned him around as he tackled him to avoid the in the back. I mean, he does take him forward, but look at the way he twists him around.
Well, he doesn't land him face first, does he? Yeah, that's a fair call, Bung.
King gets it from Chaffee. It's been good, King. Third club, but really making a fist of it to fall forward. Going very early was Andrew Kellaway. And then Tivendale, terrific smother. Coming from Crow. White.
And a good follow-up tackle.
Yep, with Crow's tackling's been pretty good. Stengline with Bowden. It's a centre-half forward. Ben Harton also getting involved with Tivendale ball up.
Real good contest at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, look, I know most of the money in town is for the Tigers at the moment, but they wouldn't want to take this easy because the Crows are here to play, as evidenced by the way they're going about it physically. They're laying a lot of really precise tackles and a couple of hefty bumps already.
Centre-half forward, Tigers in attack. 4-2-3-6. Robran and Ottens. Ottens just lays it down. Bowden on his wrong side. James has a second crack. His handball skills have always been really good. Gets it to McLeod. Back into the centre. Good mark to Andrew Kellaway. You knew that he'd keep his eye on it.
Gee, I wonder what Marsh was doing there.
That was
almost
Corey. Had to make a contest, Dermot, didn't he?
Protecting the opposition back.
Bowden goes to full forward. Benny Gale and Holland. And this height advantage they've got up forward is going to be decisive, I think.
He just got lost there, Robran, didn't he?
Well, that wasn't Robran on that occasion. They've been swapping over, and Robran found himself on Ottens again.
Yep.
And as a result, he just gets a good fly in there, and it's Crowell picking him up. And he just gave him too much room. I mean, this guy, he takes him with one grab. Good, strong hands.
And if he does have good, strong hands, but if he's got a weakness anywhere, Chase, it could be what he's about to do. Although he's actually pretty straight.
Good view of it, directly in front.
He's just not pretty by foot.
Good straight approach. Oh, that's a beautiful run-up.
That's home.
Straight, isn't it?
And you can't...
It could be a decisive statistic by the end of the night. Good play by Bowden to take Marsh out of it. And then Chaffee had the confidence to get right back to Hilton at half-back, who uses Knights. He slipped there. It is a very difficult glue pot, that at the moment. Connell and Knights play on call.
He's a bit upset, Matthew Knights. He figures he should have got a free kick there and you can just see him mouthing the words, how long, before he knocks the ball clear of the contest. But they still keep slipping on that turf. Almost got a boot to it.
Well, so it's disappointing at half-back the way Peter Vardy allowed Rory Hilton just to run and receive that. Just watched him run away from him.
Bickley to O'Loughlin.
Good hands.
Good lateral movement to Rashudo to full forward. Now, Welsh was a poor kick by Rashudo. Gasper, Welsh was untidy on Gasper, then he's got a free kick.
He had a real opportunity, Welsh, to nab Gasper there, but he just went in a little bit too brash, a little bit too bold, took him high.
Hilton goes short to Chaffee, who's been really busy. Back to Hilton, back to Kellaway. They've worked it pretty well here. Kellaway can go long to centre wing, and Dragosevic gets a push from Hart. He's taken the mark.
He's clever. He just knew how far he could push him and when to do it. The timing was perfect.
Edwards could go on, and he does. McLeod provides the Shepherd.
Well, that's
good
a great
kick.
kick.
It's going to be a goal. It's going and going. It's a goal. That is a penetrating kick. Ben Hart setting it up at centre wing.
He probably needed that, Tyson Edwards. He's picking up Mark Chaffee at the moment, and Chaffee's been pretty busy with 7 possessions in the first quarter. Just a 3 to Edwards, but they carry a lot of weight when they result in goals. And he just made some space, saw that the passage was clear. He ran to about 52 metres out, and that's a great kick.
Hey guys, Drayton Civic is off the ground and now Broderick is back on. I thought Ben Hart just outplayed him down there.
Thanks, Dipper. So this is a terrific first quarter, isn't it? Both teams. Bickley penetrating kick to centre half forward. Vardy's athleticism important there. And then Vardy hooking back and a boundary throw in right forward pocket. Talk about good form. If you drew the line, recent form last 7 weeks, Bombers have won 7, Carlton have won 7. Richmond would be third with 6 wins and the Crows will be fourth with 5. So over a period of 2 months, these two teams have been going as well as anybody, basically.
Well, that's about as far back as you can take it to. 4 weeks, I reckon.
So that's basic since the Crows have found a bit of form. Well, Welsh was lucky, then he dropped that.
Took an eternity.
And then he's given 50 away. Well, he hasn't given 50 away.
No, he might have been a bit aggressive. The Rory Hilton tackle there after this. Look, he looks there for somebody to dish off to.
There's nobody.
He does the right thing. He holds onto it. I mean, at least make your man dispossess you. No, he's done the right thing there. He hasn't there.
I think Hilton wanted to just make a point, don't you?
Yeah.
If I can't have 50, I'll run 30. Bitterscombe to half forward. Knights to lead. Bickley, well played Bickley. He'll be very determined, as he always is after that early mistake. Robbins kicks a beauty to Hart.
Now this has freed up Ben Hart a little bit. You can see him just gathering possessions now and looking more confident.
Welsh coming off that indiscretion a moment ago and Eccles on.
Gee, Perry had Crowe short and decided to go for Rasciuto, and it was a contest. I think it was the wrong option, and then Rasciuto's tackle was pretty impressive. Kellaway and Smart gets back to Holland. Well done to Gasper. Little soft handball, okay. Daffy sweeps a very impressive handball to Vardy, to Broderick, and then Broderick with that good left leg of his to half forward. McLeod running hard. Gale just pushed him out. King goes to ground, and then James. I reckon they should bring the boundary line in about 30 metres tonight, don't you? Perry, they should forget that little part of the ground. James back to Goodwin. Goodwin to Smart. He stretched the big fella. He couldn't take the mark. Getting back Tawney, and he eluded a couple, got rid of Smart. Sweeping handball back to Gasper, comes out wide. Some good footy here being played by both teams. This is what Hilton loves to do. Rebound from the back, takes Vardy on and brushes him aside, and then forced to kick with his left leg. Ottens, again one-handed. He's done that a couple of times tonight. Chaffee at 50, hooking back to the hot spot. Can Gale take the mark? Bassett's contest was good. It's in the pocket. Tivendale and Goodwin, they're forcing it. Goodwin, free kick on the back.
Got to take you back to the other end of the ground. That is twice now Peter Vardy has stood there and been a spectator while Rory Hilton has just decided to create and run off him.
Good kick by Edwards.
To Marsh. The handball.
Now to Stenglein. And then Stenglein goes with the little one. He's got he's got Rasciuto within scoring distance, I think.
A very good lead from Mark Rasciuto, and what he'll try to do now is take Jason Tawney deep in defence and perhaps try and kick a couple of goals on him.
Well, we saw him actually play full forward a couple of times, about 3-4 years ago, and he does lead from the goal square very, very well.
He kicked 4 against Port Adelaide in that famous come-from-behind win this year. He's kicked about 100 and odd goals in 160 games, so he sort of goes at about a half a match, which is not bad over the period, is it, for a bloke that plays in the midfield.
He's going to take a good kick. He'll kick from 50 or just outside on a 45-degree angle.
Good deal of it there. But they die pretty quick at the end,
I think he'll get the distance.
It's his 8th possession, so he's had a terrific first quarter.
Oh, it's a floater.
He hasn't timed it at all. It's right to the square. Can the Crows provide a big mark there? They don't. And the Tigers do well here. And then Bowden just finds Tawney. There's a good kick by Bowden. He's a class act. Tawney in the back pocket. Goes deep to centre wing. James mopped up pretty well. And again, like everybody else who's had to go at speed, falls over.
You've nearly got to back off a little bit speed-wise and not overcommit yourself once you're on that turf, because as soon as you try to change direction at pace, you're in trouble.
Ben Hart to full forward. Holland got back. That's a good mark. He read it best, didn't he? Oh. O'Loughlin to try and run him down. Knights to kick. Bickley calls Marsh off him because he says, I've got him.
Gee, nothing ahead of Matthew Knights. He's going to have to wait.
Oh, it's a shocking kick. He's done a Bickley. Vardy's held it.
And he's going to leave it on the deck and wait till all his teammates get covered.
I'm trying to work out who Matthew Knights was looking for then. That wasn't near anybody.
Well, I reckon if Vardy kicks the goal, Bickley might quietly say to him, we're all square. But Bickley's kept his distance at the moment. Well, Vardy, he's capable, isn't he?
He's got his way now. He has to have a shot.
I'd say with Jarman sitting at home watching, this is the next best bloke to have the kick for the Crows.
Now, if he kicks it, the Crows are in front.
Yep.
And the Tigers haven't won a game this year whilst trailing at quarter time.
Keep that up, I'll lose my job. Those sort of stats. Let's see if he can. It's going to be a very big kick. He's 52 out. He's kicked it strong and long. It's got the distance. It's a good kick. He's put him in front.
A bad omen for the Tigers.
Well, you've been critical of him, Dermot. Fair enough, but he's kicked two first quarter goals.
That's what he has to do. If he's going to be non-accountable for his man, he has to hurt him on the scoreboard. He's doing it, so he's been pretty good. Break even at least for him.
I tell you what, we've seen some good footy this year, but I reckon that's about as good a first quarter as we've seen in a long time. Smart has to stop and prop, and Broderick's got him. He'll be disappointed, Smart, because they were on, weren't they? He didn't use his left side either by foot or hand, and one 30-year-old puts another 30-year-old down.
And he's pretty hard at it, this bloke, still, even though he's played plenty of football, Broderick.
Centre wing, McLeod front spot, couldn't take the mark, Holland at the back. We get into this glue pot, and again Edwards falls over. This is a real problem tonight as Daffy gets it from Holland and then goes with a long one. Now Knights gives Bickley a little shove and takes a beautiful mark. Good strong hands.
Well, if you were to back it in, a one-on-one contest, the ball travelling through the air for a marking contest, you would say that Mark Bickley is going to win 9 out of 10 of these.
He just couldn't dig in with his feet. He tried to get low, and he has a very strong torso, the thighs, the hips, the bum, Andrew Bickley, but he just couldn't dig in, Mark Bickley, sorry, just couldn't dig in and push back hard enough.
They've had funny nights, these two, haven't they?
Yep.
Speak of Knights, I mean, Matthew coughed one up, Bickley coughed one up, and Knights might kick his second, and he does. The Tigers are back in front. So the lead has changed hands on 4 occasions so far, and we're in the first couple of minutes of the second quarter.
Just got beautiful touch off the boot, hasn't he, Matthew Knights? I mean, the way he kicks that, just beautifully touches it down. He just helps him away from the drop zone of the ball. And
it's an interesting setup, Derm. Matthew Knights, he's virtually playing forward pocket alongside Big Brad Ottens.
And Ottens led away from it, and he stayed at home, Knights. So perhaps they've seen something which we, myself as well, have misjudged. I would have thought Bickley would do him in the air.
And the reason Brett James is loose in the back line for the Crows is because Mark Chaffee's playing loose for the Tigers in defence.
And that attack started because Edwards at full pace fell over in the glue pot. You're almost going to have to soccer the ball off the ground when you get out there, I think.
Well,
you've just got to not try to change direction. You've got to be very careful when changing direction.
Another takeaway for Richmond here through Gale.
To centre half forward, McLeod came in from the side. Knights read it really well. Terrific handball, wonderful smother on White there coming from Bickley, and then McLeod runs it to the line. It's out on the full.
Oh, just lower, below the knee. The ball touched him, similar to the fashion that had happened to Bowden in the first quarter.
Just off the shin, I think, that, which is classified as part of the boot, basically.
Yeah.
James White in the pocket. He's going to come in board, and Knights has a chance here. He's on the best side for a left footer.
Well, this is creating real problems for Mark Bickley because in the space of a minute he's taken a mark and kicked a goal one-on-one. Then he picked a loose ball up and shot a handball out, which almost resulted in a goal. And now he's got free and he'll have another shot. So Bickley's either got to tighten up or they'll make a change there.
You'd hate to take McLeod away from the half-back line, but he won't get pushed underneath the ball like Bickley was before at least.
So Knights from the pocket. It's coming back. It's a great kick.
He likes it.
It's kick 3, the captain. Well, it's the decisive duel at the moment, isn't it? It's the difference.
Yep.
It looked like he tried to get a bit of draw on the ball. He looked like he ran infield a bit and tried to get a bit of arc, a bit of curve to hook the ball back in. You just see him, he looks like he runs infield the last couple of steps.
Smart's gone to him, by the way. They put Smart onto Knights.
Yeah, he has to.
Just gets the ball to turn over nicely. Well, he certainly won't push Nigel Smart under the ball, I wouldn't have thought.
I reckon it won't take long before he goes back onto the ball now, at least, and say, well, that one worked for 2 goals.
Straight in the middle, Mark Bickley, so we'll see if he can atone and perhaps win the ball out of the middle because the Tigers have been on top there early.
2 goals in less than 4 minutes for the Tigers. Gale, Marsh runs hard, Edwards, well done, and then pushes forward to about 50. That's a clever mark by Eccles, who's now on the ground.
I've got to say, Ben Marsh absolutely intended for that ball to go to the Crows teammate there. That was a brilliant tap out.
Hasn't played at this level since round 4, Eccles. Just pops it up to full forward, wants Perry and gets it.
Now, this bloke is going to make a real name for himself as someone who can mark it. Remember Peter Johnson all those years ago down Geelong? He could mark everything, but he could not kick it anywhere remotely near the
What are you
target.
trying to say, Dern?
Well, he's not a good-looking kick off the boot, Perry, but he can mark it, and that's 3 deep and 1 behind. That is a fantastic grab. He should get this one.
And he does.
Well, you remember Peter Johnson, Dip?
So the Crows back within a kick. Good play by Eccles, as Jason said, and a terrific mark. And goal in the end by Perry. Marsh, O'Loughlin, Daffy, back to Marsh, who's an interesting young player. Goodwin's high ball to centre half forward. Well, that was a 4, 5, 6 deep there. Quick hands by Crowd, but he gave it up to Broderick. Back to Gasper. He just seems a bit out of sorts tonight. For a bloke who's been in such brilliant form, and Bowden gets it. Kicks to Daffy.
Just needs to hold him up here, Beckley, as he does. Good hard running by the Tigers through the middle.
That's a good kick, isn't it? That is a really good kick to Kellaway. Inboard to Bitterscombe. Forced to kick in a hurry. And a terrific effort by James. And then the missed handball from Goodwin. And Dragosevic is going to kick a goal. Rather white. Well, I thought James did really well to make the contest, and then the handball was missed, and James White has swooped on it and kicked a very good goal.
And it's not the key forwards that are doing the damage for the Tigers at the moment. It's the little peripheral players. It was a great effort early on by James, and then the handball, whether it was just a little bit too forceful over such a short distance, White jumped on the opportunity and did it very, very well.
I reckon if the ball had come up somewhere near the chin for Simon Goodwin, he would have accepted it, but at that pace, at that level, couldn't get the eyes fixed on it.
Tigers have been pretty good going forward, haven't they? 8-2 now. Marsh doing well in the ruck. Rashudo, Bickley, that was terrific play. Stenglein to Edwards. He takes another step. Handballs to O'Loughlin.
Kick it.
Well, what a team goal. Brilliant.
She's dominating these centre bounces at the moment. He's just jumping up right hand and he's putting it in about a couple of feet in front of his left shoulder, getting a Crows player to run onto it. Didn't happen that time, but that's the first time he hasn't won it.
Edwards has been important, hasn't he, since that goal. Chaffee seemed to take a high tackle. Broderick back to Royce Vardy for the Tigers. Kicks into the heart of the centre. Hartwell, I think, was going to go for the mark and then belted away. Tivendale just had it snatched off him sort of by Bickley.
They've got a sniff, Bruce.
Eccles to James to Rashuto, who's sort of within range. He's had a couple of shots. He's going to go short to Eccles and got him. Eccles could go on, decides not to.
He's a player that's kicked goals in the past too, Andrew Eccles, so he certainly knows how to find the big sticks. But gee, the last few minutes has been good football for the Crows.
They've got a sniff, haven't they?
I think it's fair to say they've looked the better side all night.
The
majority of it,
the Tigers came out very hard early on after a bit of a dressing down from Danny Frawley. They were switched on early, but they fought back well.
You mean in this quarter?
Yeah.
Yep. So Eccles from the pocket. Premiership player who's just struggled. He looked like he was going to be a gun player. Could well still be. And he's just pushed it, hasn't he? So they've had a few more shots here. 7-7 to 8-2. But they'd be pleased with Eccles. Hasn't played since round 4 and he's had some touches early.
Let's have a look at Joel Bowden. What's going on for him? Now, once again, all Richmond players pull at least 30 to 40 metres away, giving him room to play on and go to the wing. Going to look for Gasper up on the wing now.
Marsh works to the front and then gets a hand on it. Gasper tried to work him under. Well done, Marsh. He's got some talent. Out wide to Connell, who's sort of playing for his life every time he plays. His footy career, I should say. Inside, did Stenglein take it? No.
Nearly got a hand on it.
Bowden. He's a cool cat, this fella. Well, did Crowd touch it? Probably not. Andrew Kellaway. Back inboard to Holland playing deep. And then up and under, Rodburn and Ottens, and belting it at the back was Hart, but he left his man loose there in White. Back to Ottens. Little give was okay to Tivendale. Never really got onto the kick. It goes to half forward, and Goodwin gets back. Gives it to Smart. Smart. Oh, Connell, good hands in the end. Yep.
Important contest by Smart before, Rodburn before, just to put pressure, keep the ball close in, wasn't it?
Great shepherd by Ben Hart there.
Bickley, well, Perry could never get into the action. Gasper was good there. He just held him out, and Kellaway's got it. It was a pretty poor kick coming out of the fence from the Crows.
Not quite sure what to do with it.
There's not much ahead of him.
Well, he didn't panic, but he got it to Royce Vardy, who gets it to Bitterscombe. Goes back to Kellaway.
That's where it all started a minute ago.
Yeah, he's just said, well, that didn't work. Let's start again.
Well, they've switched it now to Hilton.
They've got Chaffee on if they want it.
They've straightened it up to Chaffee. They'll try and run off, you'd think. Lachlan got there in a hurry, and then Chaffee's kick wide to Tawney. Didn't take the mark, but he's got the luxury of having Holland behind him and no Crow. And then Crowell was able to smother. Just a bit untidy here. The Tigers, Perry, air calls, gone. Had to give the reflex and didn't. In fact, Perry held it up in the first spot.
He did the right thing, I reckon, because he knew O'Loughlin would have been besieged or beset upon by Richmond defenders had he given it to him.
Bit up and under Holland, and then Bassett was at the back. James, pretty good defensive kick. He wants to run it to the line. Don't think it'll get there. It's a awkward one, though, for... gee, that was a tough one for Kellaway. Had to give a bit on the handball. Gets it back. Cameron to Daffy. It's been played between the half-back and half-back at the moment. That's a good kick to Knights. Smart made the contest. Free kick Knights.
You know, he nearly got away with that, Nigel Smart. And just in the end, he rolled into the back of Matthew Knights when he didn't need to. The ball had spilled free.
Oh, he's got Pengale on.
Goes to full forward. The build away at the back from the Crows. Well read by White. Wonderful snap. And he has just missed. It was a good kick, though, wasn't it?
That looked great off the boot. That was tough to hook it too far from where he was.
Where's this kid from? He's sensational. Oakley under-18s.
Well,
Camberwell before that.
Our producer, Andy Maher, was telling me before the game he was a recruiter for front and square and sharking, and he's showing a bit of that, isn't he?
He's very, very good.
Not much movement up ahead of Ben Hart at the moment.
Crowell runs up to Hart to present the option.
Poor kick.
Take him. I think he actually looked at
Crowell. The first time Andy Maher's given us any information.
Thanks for that, Dipper. Any that we've used, anyway. Cameron, centre wing. It's a bit of an arm wrestle here right now. Smart's left his man and belted away, his man being Knights. Bitterscombe, back to Bowden. Clever handball to Bitterscombe, and then Bitterscombe tries to hook it back, and he does get it to centre half forward. Gale front spot. Ricciuto in the right place, bangs it away. Marsh almost. Bowden, important ball here. Bowden, oh, he rode it really well, and then handball beautifully to Barty, and then releases James. McLeod onto him. James, little one to centre half forward. Bassett front spot. Knights, brilliant. Smart's got him high in the end. Play on called. Tawney worried out of it. Well done, Crows. Terrific stuff. Bickley's handball behind the Roo. The Roo takes them on. Handball's over the top to Goodwin. Goodwin on the burst. Goes long and hard to the pocket to fall forward. Vardy's a sharpshooter. He's in the pocket. They'll worry him and worry him. Vardy's pinged. He's gone. He's gone. What good footy at the back by the Crows, though.
What about when the way Mark Ricciuto just decided, I'll protect the ball, I'll take it on the body this hit, and I'll just run through the oncoming tackle, and it's exactly how it panned out.
Disappointing Vardy in there, and he really had to do more than that. He had to force it to the line somehow, some way.
Yeah, the kick could have favoured him better too, although it wasn't a definite lead out hard.
Connell, Holland, good tackle by Robran. Back to Holland. Cameron has to search for it. Finds Broderick, who bursts away and then kicks it to James. Got him. James is on. White's there. He's going to go long. It's an awkward kick. Knights is at the back here. He's a chance. Gale decides to come back. It's not a very good option. Hart front spot. And Brendan Gale, probably the handball over the left shoulder to Knights was the go. But it's pretty easy up here, isn't it?
Edwards. Some of my best ones up here, Bruce.
Yeah, well, I didn't play any. Goodwin to O'Loughlin. O'Loughlin pushed out Perry. McLeod on the burst with Gasper. Well done, Gasper. Back to King. Both defences are hanging on really well here, aren't they? And then King kicks to centre wing. This is his sticky glue pot. And Stenglein and Bowden. Boundary throwing. Gee, Matty Knights has been running hot in this quarter, hasn't he? He has been a real key to the Tigers.
2 goals early on this quarter, hasn't he? He's been fantastic, and he just finds himself loose again on that occasion. Just beautiful touch off the boot.
So Knights really important here. Broderick to Cameron. Lopes away and then kicks to the man we're talking about. Almost. Gale. Right bounce, it'll be a goal, but it's running away.
Still in.
Play on. Bickley to Goodwin.
Good kick.
Yeah. Stenglein. Gee, that's a good matchup, Stenglein and Bowden, isn't it?
Yep.
Stenglein takes them on. Gets it to Robran. Hasn't had an impact, Robran. He's in a bit of strife here with King onto him. He needs the line. He belts it back and concedes, and Cameron's got it. So Cameron at centre wing. awkward kick, hard to get a footing in there. Hart did well to push James underneath. Then they get rid of Bowden. Ball still to be won. Bitterscombe gets it back. Quick kick forward by Cameron. Holding his ground pretty well, James. To Bassett. Might have been legged. Bickley to Smart. Well done. And then Smart out wide to Connell. Now Connell, not the best kick in the Crows team. Finds the right man here. Marsh takes his time. Little kick is a good one. And finds the man who can kick a goal from here in Vardy.
See, that was good play by Ben Marsh. He just straightened up, and good skills for a big man just to chip a little 15-metre kick to the leading player.
Didn't
was
drill
very,
it, did
very
he?
good. No, he just put it a little bit of height so he could run into it, and he changed direction a couple of yards, but you can't ask for much more from a big fella delivering the ball like that forward.
He actually led straight up the ground and then veered towards Marsh, didn't he? Just with about 3 or 4 paces
Needs
into
to
it.
kick this to capitalise on his possessions, Vardy.
49 metres out. He's a good kick, isn't he? He's kicked 3. Crows in front. Vardy with 3. Knights at the other end has 3. And the Crows back in front. So for the 5th time, the lead has changed hands tonight in a really entertaining game. Tawney to Wattens in the centre square. Low kick. Smart's a better match-up in that contest, isn't he, than Bickley.
Yeah.
Daffy's read it well. Then swings it to King. That's a great handball. And King strolls in. And the Tigers are back in front.
Well, only the second time.
Here's a couple who are about to break out with some serious renovations. And here's the Mitre 10 specialist.
Solid hardwood frame.
Who'll help you.
Times himself.
Yeah, 10-7 is centre breaks in favour of the Crows overall.
So Ottens and Marsh, Broderick, Rashudo and Tawney. Rashudo hasn't got control. Tawney's onto him. Rashudo has to get rid of it. White's been busy, hasn't he? To fall forward. Hart did well at the end. Knights again. He's on the right side. Just never quite got the angle or the hook. But he looked a chance.
Gee, you would have expected him to probably do better. Such is the skill of Matthew Knights. But he just kicked it a little bit end over end rather than around the corner. Didn't get the ball to bend back.
He's enjoying it, isn't he? You can see he's using any bit of energy he's got just in a frantic flurry just to get at the goals instead of having to cover so much ground. Have a look at the Hart kick in.
Disguised it pretty well, didn't he? And got it wide.
He's a clever player. Marsh is on further up the wing. He'll give the option.
So Bassett's kick, and he didn't go in the end. Marsh and Holland had Ottens in the front and Holland at the back.
He got there too early, Marsh. Had to wait for it.
Holland's kicked to half forward. Bassett. James just got rid of him, and then a couple of Crows missed it. Bickley at the back. Gets it to James. Sweeps it back to Hart. Hart wide now. Biglands has just come off the interchange, and Kellaway's taken a good one in front of him.
That's an important little push there because he would have played on Kellaway otherwise.
And then Kellaway goes back with a long ball to fall forward. James, their target, beat the lot. Daffy's onto it. He would have kicked this a couple of years ago, and he's missed the lot.
Well, he just caught that right in the middle of the ball and went straight up and out of bounds on the ball. A couple of opportunities. The more clever players of the Tigers, Knights and Daffy, you'd expect to go a little bit closer from that sort of range.
He's lost his radar over the last couple of years, Daffy, hasn't he? I mean, seen him kick a lot of goals like that.
He was as good as there is in the league at kicking those types of goals a couple of years ago.
He virtually went from a forward to a midfielder, though. He's made that transition.
Goodwin's kick, going for distance. Bowden belting away. Stenglein read it best to Edwards, who's been a very important player. He's taken 2 bounces. He'll go a third here, and he'll go a fourth. Now Bitterscombe's at him. He slips over. He has some time, and then kicks it over Marsh's head, and Ottens will peel away and belt it away. Robin and Chaffey. McLeod, who's just been slightly out of sorts. Robin, Welsh hasn't touched it yet. He's only touched Hilton, and then kicks to full forward dreadfully, and Kellaway's got it. Well, Scotty Welsh is really struggling here. Ottens' kick out wide, not a great option, but it was a good mark by Holland.
He was outnumbered 3-1. He had to take that mark or he was in trouble, Ben Holland.
Decides not to go short and goes to Gale. Bigland's with him. Daffy running hard, starting to get involved. Interesting kick back. Smart and Knights. It ricocheted off Knights. Bickley's handball was a bit in a hurry, and then King gets it out. Then Daffy. Beautiful kick to Bowden. Well done by Bickley to get back, and then the Crows force it out. I thought they had enough on the kick from Daffy to Bowden.
Yeah, he just did very well, Bickley, didn't he? He didn't interfere the player coming at the ball, Bowden.
Yeah, and he got a great pump up from Bassett then, because that was just courageous. He turned around, he kept his eye on the ball at the contest and really denied the Tigers a certain goal.
Smart. Why should have I hesitated? It had to be Bickley. He's the bloke that's been doing it for years, hasn't he? Back into the centre. Chaffee back to Cameron. Quick hands there from White, who's been impressive. Chaffee hooking back. Then Hart, who's done this really well, Hart. Then in trouble. Did find a way to Eccles. And then Eccles out wide. Gets it to McLeod, who could be really dangerous here. Would he take them on? He's held up a bit and then goes with a long ball. Perry's caught underneath it. Can he make the contest? Front spot was Vardy. In the end, McLeod didn't do all that well.
Only his 7th possession, McLeod. Hasn't had a big influence yet.
Gasper to Hilton. It's almost Hilton's trademark early in his career, running away. And that's a good mark by Bowden down
Keeps
low.
running here, Hilton. Doesn't receive. Lays a Shepherd.
There's a free
blood rule,
is it? Gee, this
against Matthew Knights.
Is it Knights or Ben Hart or Biglands, I think?
Might have been Knights that brought it to his attention. He was making all sorts of
Jeremy, what about Ottens tonight? The way he's been palming the ball around, he's just been fantastic.
Yeah, he's ended up doing a bit down back in the last few minutes. He's actually had a little bit of the ball, not a heap. What's he got? 5 possessions so far and 1 mark.
Instead of going for the big marks tonight, he's been putting out his mitts, just put the ball down onto the ground, and then in the back line, then instead of going for the mark, he just palmed the ball down.
He's gone one-handed a lot, but Ben Hart's a blow if he's off for any length of time. He's had a lot of it tonight.
He's been very good down there, and also Nigel Smart. He's needed his extra strength because Knights has been close to kicking another couple of goals.
Well, Benny's looking at his hands and there's no blood on me. He can't see his own head. It's covered
it's like
in
a volcano.
Burns come on for the Crows.
The good thing about this topic is at least it gives the Crows a chance to man up again.
Well, Aaron James has got away on a lead here.
And that's where Bowden's going. Eccles over the top, ball at the back. Daffy's read these pretty well, but he hasn't been able to make much use of them, and a boundary throw in. So still a kick in it. Really good game here. Decent crowd, big stakes. Richmond win, you reckon they're in the finals. A long way to go, I know, but 9-4. Crows win, well, they've got a chance. Bowden belts the handball away. Bassett leading. Just gets an awkward looking kick. Bickley's caught underneath. The spoils come from the back. King, Goodwin, well done. Got up high to ride it well. And then Stenglein to Biglands. Too far for Smart. He wheels back. And good handball in the end because he had to find the angle to James. To McLeod. Doesn't use Robran. Does now. Now he's a long kick, Robran. Can Cameron put any pressure on him? Robran's going to stretch him and then go for it, and it's going to wobble away, and it's behind.
You can see what he was trying to do. He tried to clear the pack and get the ball to bounce through. He kicked it with a pretty low trajectory, but it just bent away a little bit of an instepper at the end and kicked it for a point. They're just having trouble identifying clear targets up forward, the Crows.
And Richmond are holding it in their forward line pretty well at the moment. They're fighting hard for it, the forwards, and not giving an easy release for the Crows backmen. See a change coming on here. Dragicevic back on for White.
And may get involved here too, Dermot. Dragicevic straight off the bench. Cameron, Bowden, Biglands, and out of play.
He moves pretty well, Biglands, doesn't he? He's a big kid. He's been around a while. Made his way to the Crows in the last couple of years, 199 centimetres, but he actually moves like a big key position player. Now, Adelaide hasn't beaten Richmond in Melbourne since round 1, 93.
It's a long time ago.
We lost the last 3 by 14-46.
I think Tony Modder had a fair day that day from memory at the MCG. They've had a funny history, these two clubs, and that's holding the ball against the Crows, against Byrne. Wayne Britton and Johnny Worsfold.
Fiora about to come on for the Tigers. Looks like James will be coming off.
That's the Carlton team. They play the Crows in a couple of weeks at Optus. Got a big game against the Tigers tomorrow. Eccles wobbles back. They've got numbers here, and it fell into Connell's arms. He's got McLeod, decides not to, and then goes wide to the pocket. Gasper picked it off pretty well against Welsh. Broderick running hard. He's done well. Back to Chaffee, a little under Bitterscombe. They're still not out of trouble. Terrific effort from Welsh. That's better. Edwards fortuitously goes to Byrne, who hooks it back. They've wasted this a bit, the Crows, and a boundary throw in.
Gee, there's a great tackle in the pocket there. That
Scotty Welsh
stopped him in his tracks.
That came out of the dark, didn't it? There's Benny. He's patched up. He's got the stitches or the staples. Bang.
That's a solid tackle.
Helped him over.
Marsh and Holland. Marsh lays it down. Broderick ducks down low and then finds a way out. Well done. Prosciutto stretched himself. Daffy with him, Bickley. Daffy with a little more leg speed. Bickley's done well here. He's forced him to the line and a boundary throw in.
Those boundary line throw-ins very close to the point post. The umpires actually seemingly almost throw it to the top of the square now. It's just about where the ruckman used to try and tap the ball to in yesteryear.
Hard back on. Well, Bigland should have given a free kick away. Just shoved Holland out of the way. Hard back on for Byrne. Chaffee's playing sort of a sweeper back there. Then changes direction. Kicks to centre wing. Robin's in the box seat, but he's given a free kick away.
Untidy. Oh, Daffy's gone on.
So the advantage given to the Tigers here. Daffy then has to stop after a couple of bounces. And Otten's with a chance here. Smart makes a contest. Well done. It's been a very good move, Smart, back there.
Yeah, well, it was very interesting. You're talking about Smart there. When Daffy was coming down, Matthew Knights was pushing back on Smart and calling for the ball long. You would think he'd try and lead and perhaps get the ball out in a bit of space, but they just want to keep centering the ball into that dangerous spot 15 metres out, and they're going to try and make it happen from there.
Well, Smart covering him was able to give assistance then because he had it, Otten.
Daffy, and again blazing and missing.
It's twice with that sort of kick. He just hasn't caught the ball properly.
Back the Tigers, if you think back, they've had some chances in this term. I know the scoreboard suggests they've been pretty accurate. Knights missed a really gettable one, didn't he?
Yep. Yeah, that's the one I thought he would get, that left hook over his right shoulder.
That really would have topped off a big first half for him.
See what Hardy's looking at. Going to go to Robin up the middle.
Got him.
Good spot up.
Good. James has broken up on the wing if he sees him.
He's got him now, Jason. So Smart to James. And this is where they've had a few problems. Vardy's the target.
That was the best lead they've done this quarter. Well, Vardy, the second time he's done it. He got the lead earlier and kicked the goal. He's the only player that really looks dangerous on a lead. He finds space and he leads hard. And there's a good kick coming in from James.
Important mark from Robin, wasn't it? Clean mark in a contest. Well, he hasn't looked like missing these, Vardy. He's kicked 3. Twice this year he's kicked 5 goals in a match against the Kangaroos and the Demons. So, pretty good return. He's looking at a 4th first half goal here. Not an easy shot, but he has kicked beautifully tonight. And he's done it again. He's got 4 and the Crows are back in front.
He is good.
A few times, guys. I keep an eye on him. It looks sore.
What does, Dippet?
Matthew Knights does.
Yeah, okay.
It's been out there a few times. There's been a Matthew Knights.
Well, Campbell off the ground. Vardy has put the Crows in front 3 times tonight off his own boot. So they're back in front to centre half forward. He's kicked 4 first half goals. A good contest. Welsh, little one, clever kick to Marsh. But Vardy did extremely well, and then King was held on to and probably should have got a free kick. Vardy's impressive to Broderick. And again, a late Vardy goal has put the Crows in front as it did at quarter time. It's been a terrific first half, hasn't it?
Oh, it's been a fantastic game. I mean, apart from being a seesaw battle, you've just seen 2 teams have a real good go. Lots of tackling, a few big grabs and a few good goals. It's got everything, the game.
It has. It's 9-5 to 9-8. Let's see what emerges. Crows have won 5 out of their last 7. Tigers have won 7 out of their last 8, including their last 5. Chaffee gets it to Bowden, to Cameron at half-back, and then goes with a neat kick to Holland and found him.
That is a super
Very
kick.
well weighted, wasn't it?
Oh, that's brilliant.
Robin became an important player late in that second quarter after a slowish start. And then Holland's kick is also well weighted to Otten, who had it a long time. Broderick couldn't take it cleanly, getting it from White. A little kick to full forward, and Smart's done a really first-class job back there and belted over the line.
He's looked very close a couple of times tonight, Brad Ottens. He's got the hands up, but just hasn't been able to grab it. You just think that his height might really come to the fore in this second half.
Ben Hart patched up just before half-time. Goes short. He started on Dragicevic.
The word about Benny Hart is that he got the staples in the head, not the stitches.
Bassett's kick. That's a good mark by Smart. I think he wanted to go on, but he realised that he'd lost his balance. And then does go on to Goodwin, a left footer. So good side for him to take the ball in the end. Marsh goes short. Welsh wants it deep, and he's kicked it beautifully to Welsh. What a kick!
That was an extraordinary kick. The funny thing about that kick was where Welsh actually marked the ball. If Goodwin had to put a little bit more on it, he kicks the goal because it's right on line. But he was more confident to hit the target, and he just put it on a plate for him.
It was a walk in the park for the Crows, the way they move the ball.
Crows will now lead by 8 points, which equals their biggest margin in the match to date. Tigers have been in front by 9 points on a couple of occasions. Welsh disappointing early. I reckon that terrific tackle might have given him a lift just before half-time.
Dermot, you mentioned one of your worries was Peter Vardy being the only avenue to goal. Welsh is the sort of bloke that can kick goals if he gets his confidence up.
I was just thinking that.
His kick. That's extraordinary.
Yeah, it's a bit lost there, Rory Hilton, doesn't he? Look, I was just thinking that the Tigers wouldn't want Welsh to actually start getting a bit of confidence, because if he kicks another 2 or 3 goals in his half, they could just about get across the line.
So the Crows by 8 points, 60-68. Real chance here to stamp some authority on this game. You've got the feeling that they're just a bit on top of the Tigers. Bowden then decides to go with a long kick to full forward. Ottens is in a good spot here. Again, he goes one-handed. And then at the back, Daffy cleverly. And is it a mark?
Oh, he's called that infield. The goal umpire
James
back
Watts.
away.
It's been paid.
Broderick clear.
And then comes back to Broderick. Gee, that was
I'd like to have a look at that one on the goal. Well, it was actually going through for a point, but we'll call it the goal line. I'd like to have a look how close he was. He was flat stick, and you can just see him coming in flat stick. There's the ball. That's an excellent decision by the goal umpire. An excellent decision.
Well, Broderick is a really good kick. He's only kicked the 1 goal this year. He very rarely gets himself into a goal-kicking position these days.
Well, he's a left footer on the 45-degree angle, so he should feel pretty comfortable from here.
Tigers need it, actually. They're only 8 points behind, and he's done it. He's kicked the goal.
Within his range, he's as good as they get.
To McLeod, who hasn't really had any impact, and that's a poor kick, and Andrew Kellaway has taken the mark.
Only 11th possession for McLeod. We're already into the second half.
King in a bit of trouble here. Gale back to Broderick, back to Gale, and then a floaty old kick, which Holland takes a good mark on his hands and knees, and then quickly up and wants Ottens, who's got a terrific chance here, and Bassett made the contest. Hilton, who's drifted forward, kicks to full forward. Knights and Smart, and this is where Smart's been so well. A free kick to Smart. Smart's been really good against Knights.
He's been the bigger body, hasn't he? Even if he's playing it well, we see young Clinton King coming off. That's a sad side, because he's going all right.
He
kept
had
McLeod quiet.
What looked like a serious ankle injury, Clinton King. He was holding it, clutching it, and couldn't get up to his feet.
Connell short to Edwards, and then pushes wide to Connell again at half-back. The kick to Perry at centre wing. Good contest by Andrew Kellaway at the back, who's got the job there. Then Gale roves it and gets it to Cameron. Seen a lot of play between the half-back lines tonight. Robin front spot, and he's taken the mark.
Just judged the ball a bit better there.
Sorry, Josh. Hilton and Gasper have changed. Gasper has gone over to pick up Peter Vardy, and Hilton to Rowan Welsh.
Gee, that's a funny old kick from McLeod, but he got to Marsh, who decides to pop. Vardy gives a little push, still with Vardy. Gasper brings him down. Andrew Kellaway concedes.
Well, he'll be questioning the umpire about that, Peter Vardy.
It's interesting, Marsh, there's King. Marsh was within range there, inside the 50, and decided to just pop a little one. And again, McLeod's kick didn't look neat off the boot, but found its target. But he hasn't been as silky tonight, has he?
No, but he just looks like he's thinking, will I cut loose soon? Which is danger.
Kellaway.
Good spot.
And then Gale's height should be an advantage here. Well done by Stenglein. And then a second go. And then Bitterscombe works hard towards the line. Keeps it in. And then hooks it back. Crows have got numbers here. Well done, Dragicevic, but Hart played it beautifully, and then Perry got in his road a bit. Rashudo, well done. Still with the Roo. And then up and under. Not a good kick and a poor option. He'll be disappointed with that. And Cameron's taken the mark.
Gee, he nearly lost his balance, Leon Cameron.
Pushes wide to Bowden. They're on here, the Tigers. Chappie's running for him. Bowden may take Marsh on.
Good chase, Marsh.
It was. And gets it now to Chappie. Chappie's kicked to half forward. Holland. Bassett got to the front. James was there, pushing forward, was wide, who's been very impressive. Holland has to search for it for a bit. Coming forward is Broderick, pushes it forward again. Dragicevic, he just can't find the footy, couldn't find it. Otten's got down low in the tackle, no free kick. Back to Tivendale, back to Holland, half a kick. Smart's been terrific at his 200.
Oh, and they're on if they can get away here. And they find Bickley, who's pushed up the ground. He's got men further up the wing. He's going to ignore them and go long to Welsh. Good spotter.
Well, just on King, look, he's in a lot of pain down here, and the Tigers have got King and Campbell won't be playing again. And of course, Fiora and Jones, the only two players who can come back on.
Work hard there, Biglands, to get... That is fantastic running from a big man. I watched him come through the middle of the ground. He watched the ball come out to the wing, and it was always going to be marked by Scotty Welsh. And he just knew, well, if I can take it on and run forward of play, make a mismatch, he did that, and that's just reward for hard running forward. Now, he's done all the hard work. This should be, by fact, the easy part.
Ooh.
And it turns out to be the hard part.
Not going to come back.
It's a very stuttery run-up. It was good play by Scott Welsh. He saw that Biglands had made ground, and he kicked it long to the space, and he just let him use his height advantage.
So no King and no Campbell. They lose a lot of running power, don't they, through the middle?
Matthew Knights, I think, boys, are now is going to be pushed up into the middle of the ground, but he's not well. I've been watching him for good first half in that first quarter, and look, he's struggling against Smart. He's got no run in him at all.
Thanks, Tipper.
Losing run off their back line too at the moment.
Well done, Tawny, against Stengline. And then to Chaffee, who's been that link player off the half-back line and kicks it very well to Daffy.
Well done.
He got a lot of it late in the second quarter. Nothing much happened when he got it, and he goes long. Now, they've been waiting for Ottens to impose himself. He hasn't been able to do it. Gale and Ottens spoil each other a bit. Back to Biglands, slaps a handball. Broderick will kick a second and put the Tigers in front. The old pro. Gary Ayres, who would desperately want this win. This gives the Crows momentum in the second half of the season. And the Tigers to stitch up a place, you'd think, in the 8th.
Now, this is where Vardy's danger. He is the best lead, as you call, Jason, as long as Welsh doesn't get in his way.
They've blocked it up pretty well, the Tigers.
King going off the ground with the crutches, so it's a sad sight for him. He's had a really good year. So, Roo uncertain here. He decides to push to Smart.
They're just trying to break it up because Benny Gale's sitting back deep, and if he kicks it long, he's just going to take the mark.
He reaches as
pushes
well as
to Connell. Now, Robin's the one that's run here. Will he go to him? He doesn't. Connell comes in, and he's got Vardy.
He's the leading player.
That was a clever kick going out wide because it just changed the angles. Richmond blocked it up for that long kick coming in. As soon as you transfer it somewhere else, the players' heads turn in a different direction. Everything changes in the dimensions.
Tigers have kicked 54 goals in third quarters this year. They have been the most productive quarter for them. And the Crows have kicked 20 less goals in their third quarters. Well, this is probably his hardest kick tonight.
It is. He struck everything very well, but this time he'll be kicking from right on 50, so it'll have to be a very good strike.
Just before that, he's kicked it well.
Have a look at that.
He has kicked it magnificently. He's kicked 5.
Here's a couple who are finally seeing their vision become reality.
On the outside. Well done.
And here's the Mitre 10 specialists with all the advice they need.
Kicked 5 goals, Vardy. It's a big return from where he plays. 11-6 to 11-10. And for the 4th time tonight, he's actually off his own boot, put the Crows in front. It's a big effort, isn't it? Clinton King, Dipper.
Yeah, look, no good news there. It looks like he's got a cracked fibula, which is a lower leg, obviously. And here's what happened on the screen here. I assume now he's going to the hospital, so he'll probably be out for 5 or 6 weeks. And how many injuries is that, Bruce? About 16 players throughout the season?
They've had a lot, Dipper. There's no doubt about that. All starting with Richardson really early on, wasn't it? So that's a huge blow to him personally because he's had a terrific year. Smart just probably worked into the back too much in the end.
Oh, a bit stiff there, I thought.
I reckon he was a touch stiff there, Smarty.
Broderick to Knights. Here's a go. McLeod to run him down. Doesn't quite get him, but Knights up and under. Otten's front spot. He's got it at long last.
Now, that's poor by the Crows' defence. That ball was in there long enough. You could see the one-on-one forming. Somebody had to take the initiative. You could see that Ottens had front position. He's too tall for Bass, but one of the other Crow defenders had to say, I'll leave my man, I'll fly into the pack and give Nathan Bassett a bit of a chop out.
Just wondering aloud how many times the lead's changed hands tonight. It would be a fair few. Ottens, in fact, 10 times in this game we've had a change of lead, and Ottens to make it 11.
He's a very good set shot. Nice action, just stays pretty straight up and down.
And he has kicked it through. So he's got 2.
So exciting, wake into a brand new day. Only Coca-Cola.
Wayne Campbell.
Marshall will definitely look for McLeod here on the run through. He'll jump up and try and pull it to his left shoulder.
Does. McLeod gets into the action and then belts it forward in a hurry. Oh, Kellaway was good to win front spot on Perry. He's closed that hole a bit here, hasn't he, in this quarter? He had 13 possessions before half-time, Kellaway. He's up to 16 now. Goes wide, and he's going to find his target. Tawney out there between half-back and centre wing, so the Tigers back in front. Just chips it in to Cameron. Smart being pushed forward now, and then Cameron comes very wide to Hilton. Marsh, good mark, Hilton, because there were Crows all around him. They didn't go in the end, and then Hilton goes to the pocket to Wattens. Brought down, no free kick. Perry, Kellaway. Perry's in trouble, does well to Bassett, and then a good little kick to Welsh. He's starting to find the footy a bit now. Now Biglands goes for him, and Welsh kicks him. He's outnumbered here, and there's no one to crumb at all. So he's got to try and make the contest. He does it really well to Smart, who can burst a line or two. He'll go over the top, and he does, and kicks it hard and long. Gasper's up against it. Vardy's going to kick 6, and the Crows are back in front. Oh, what a game.
This time.
This is extraordinary.
The 5th time Peter Vardy has put them in front of his own
Gasper's in trouble too. I tell you what he's doing. He's actually playing Vardy and Jarman combined tonight, isn't he?
You can put that goal down to Red Biglands. He was outnumbered 2-1, caught in the middle. He brought the ball to ground. He then kept his feet, tapped the ball out to the running Nigel Smart. Now he held onto it long enough, waiting to see what Vardy was going to do. He gave a half-hearted lead, then ducked behind. Gasper did very well to get back and spoil, but the man that keeps his feet wins the contest.
Tell you what he had Gasper doing then. He had Gasper thinking he's on the lead, and he played him in front a long way, expecting to try and pick him up on the lead. He just doubled back on him. Let's see Marsh go. Yeah, let's see Marsh go at the bounce again.
I believe Gasper pulled up a bit sore after the Brisbane game last week, his first game for a month, and he too has struggled tonight from the word go, hasn't he? Goodwin, 82-78. Well, what about that? Peter Vardy 5 times tonight has kicked a goal to put the Crows in front. I tell you what, if the siren sounds at the end of the game and they're 2 points down, he's got a mark. Watch out.
Oh, don't put the cloth on him.
Oh, I hope we get a grandstand for these, don't you? The game deserves it. Gee, Smart's been good.
He has been
in his 200th,
good.
And then Toe pokes it. Knight's off it, and then Edwards, who's been very good in and under tonight, to centre half forward. Perry, almost. Kellaway's just been able to hold him up in this quarter really well. The ball comes out somehow, somewhere. It's inside the 50 for the Crows. To Goodwin on his right side, and he strolls and he kicks a goal.
McLeod handoff. Well done.
They're going to be...
Want to fix that disastrous garden but haven't got the time or cash? Then Wednesday,
Careful that root ball.
join our expert team as they do just
10
that.
points. The Tigers have been 9 points in front twice. This is the big margin. And you do feel as if, I think you're right, Jason, the next goal is so critical here. You feel as if the Crows have got a chance of really grabbing this game. Tivendale to fall forward. Bassett front spot's got it. Smart in his 200 has played a wonderful game.
He's got to hang on to it.
Gets himself into trouble, and then defensively actually kicks a not a good one in the end. But Chaffee's dropped one. Bickley.
Well, that's surely a trip.
Legged. Back to Eccles. Back to Connell. To 50 metres. Welsh made the contest. Well done, Benny Gale, building it away. Hilton searches for... The Root pushes him in the back in the end. Boundary throw in. McLeod's handball to Goodwin before that goal was a bit special, wasn't it, a moment back?
Oh, I mean, just in the thick of the pack, but, I mean, he must have just sensed him. That's an instinct thing. You can't teach that. You know, it hasn't been dominant, but I think this has been his best quarter so far.
Marsh building over the back. Perry, still Perry, tries to give a little one away.
Now, he's paid them in the back all night.
Yep. And
in the second quarter, I'll tell you what, the Tigers got 8 free kicks to Adelaide's 1. This is bound to turn their way.
This is a good decision, Dermot, because he initially tackled him perfectly well, and it looked like he was going to pay holding the ball, but what's the finish of the tackle? He drives him straight into the back, and that has to be in the back.
Well, it's not Peter Vardy kicking from the pocket, is it? It's Ian Perry.
Yes. That's left a bit of doubt about it.
Like you've potted all night, Dan.
Oh, look, I'm a big rap for this kid. I think he's very good.
You've potted his kicking.
I've potted his kicking.
Probably threatened this one.
Yeah, I hope he does.
50 metres out. Well, it's not a bad kick. He's just kept it to the wrong side for behind. But
does that remind me of Peter Johnson then?
Dipper. 13-11 to 12-6. So the Crows lead by 11 points. Tigers have won a lot of games this year in close matches.
They might go down the middle to Gasper here. He's one of two players on Bickley, so he'd be mad not to kick it to him.
So they've shown a lot of grit this year, the Tigers. Remember, well, you blokes would remember pretty well a couple of weeks ago with Hawthorn.
Yeah, well, they had no rights to win that game, and they got up.
They were in a similar position in the third quarter, weren't they? Here's Bitterscombe at centre wing. Goes to half forward. Ottens is going to have to impose. Oh! Huge fly coming from the back from Fiora. No mark. Well, free kick to the Tigers. For over the shoulder to Broderick. So Broderick at half forward. Knight's smart. It goes short to Ottens. Probably just outside his range, I reckon.
It's a pretty good kick. He'll give it a run if he wants to. He might try and set something up and look for a lead. But if he goes back and says, well, my best option is to have a shot, he can nearly get the distance from there.
He's in the bad patch too there, Jason, to start his run up. And he'll probably get clear of it now. He's hooked it, kept it low, and it's a behind. So, bit of a waste.
Smarty's gobbled up Knightsy since he's gone onto him, hasn't he?
Oh, gee, look at that. Great fist coming through from Ben Hart.
Yep, sometimes those big jumps are for show when the bloke who's just jumping from the side is at the same height.
When your opponent flies, you fly.
Marsh has been really impressive, hasn't he?
Been very good in the centre.
He had a big knee like Wren last year. This is a very promising player. McLeod goes short to Connell. He's provided a bit of run. He had to kick in a hurry, but he did it really well to Eccles. Eccles at half forward. This is a very important attack.
Vardy on the lead again.
Has he got him?
Yep.
Ooh, drop one.
Dropped the chest mark too.
He knows it too, Jason. He belts the ground in disgust.
You've got two old forwards sitting here next to you because we both said Vardy on the lead at the same time.
The one thing they have to be careful now is not becoming too Vardy conscious.
Yep.
So right forward pocket, Marsh and Gale. Marsh probably. Cameron getting back. Eccles will just worry him. And Cameron, well, I think he's pretty happy to run it over.
Once a player starts getting that much of the ball like Vardy, you'll find that the Richmond defenders will start looking at the space where he's going to lead, drop off their opponent and fill in the space. So when they do become, or look like they're going to become Vardy conscious, there should be other players freed up.
Biglands and Gale. Gale just wins it and then tries to take it cleanly. Worried out of it by Eccles. Connell in there. Can't get clear. Wasn't Connell actually. It was Vardy, yeah, and can't get clear ball up. Well, what a critical moment here. 10 points the margin. Crows just on top. Chance to really get a little bit of a sniff here to kick away.
You can just sense this. There's just a feeling that the Crows like this ground, the dimensions of this ground. They're quite happy to play games here.
Welsh running onto it. Vardy, that's Royce Vardy. Welsh trapped it back really cleverly. Gets it back to Vardy. Oh, mark taken by Bowden. Play on call. Kick to Daffy was a good one.
Gee, there were a couple of players sweating on him when he played on right in front of the goal.
Hilton's on. Now Tyson Edwards with a chance here. Did really well. Just held the kick up, Daffy, didn't he? And gave Edwards a run.
Needed to punch it lower or need to be more daring and put it closer to the boundary line.
Look at the enthusiasm of the Crows. They've come from everywhere to give Tyson Edwards a pat on the back and say, well done.
Marsh, Gale. Marsh tries to wrap him up. Gale lays it down. Edwards has been a good player. Tries to force it out. Bowden, well done. Bickley with courage just came across the front. Goodwin got a high tackle. No free kick. He's a bit stiff. Bickley in. Well done, Tigers. Daffy, Robin, he'll have to kick in a hurry. No, his left-hand handball was a beauty to James, who sweeps it to Marsh. He could unload. He's a long kick. He goes for it. He goes to the goal square and he hooks it in the end, and it's a behind. Just go back to the Crows about Colonial. One thing they were happy about, I travelled on the same plane, was the roof over the top. They knew the conditions. Yes. They were pleased that they were coming to Melbourne knowing it wouldn't be a filthy night with the roof over the top.
You bring 22 players confidently knowing who you're going to put on the deck. You don't have to worry about taking 23 in case it was wet. Yeah, that's a good point.
Plenty of tools out this side, Gale and Holland.
And they've all, he's got a couple of blokes close in on the edges.
Cameron spotted Tivendale. There was a sense of danger. The ball's at 50. Perry loads it up and wobbles are behind. So they're peppering, aren't they? 13-13 to 12-7.
So you got some carry with that one, Ian Perry. Once again, he unloads. He can get some distance with it.
They're just trying to deliver the knockout blow at the moment, the Crows. If they can kick another couple of quick ones, you think they could nearly break the Tigers here. They've got to hang tough and try and sneak a goal.
Well, third point for Ian Perry. 1 goal 3. A different equation had he got at least a couple more of those. 3 goals 1 would be a nice difference.
Tawney switches play. Now Gale was his target. Marsh would half fancy himself, and he's done a Tyson Edwards, hasn't he?
Yep.
She's been good, Marsh.
Yeah, contact lens has
Gale's lost the contact lens, yep.
No, he's found something.
Gee, I think it is his lens, isn't it?
It's his.
I think it's his lens.
What does he expect the umpire to do, though? Call a lens rule.
We can't let it go, so we can't grab the ball.
So Tawney did well. He was forced to go with Marsh.
What can he do?
It's funny, I think he was hoping to get like a timeout from the umpire.
He's calling for his bench,
his brother's coming out. I'm sure he's done this before.
Michael Gale's out there to see him. So,
yeah, see it drop out there?
Yeah.
See that drop out of his eye? Go straight to it.
He's actually put the lens in his mouth at the moment.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The safest place would be to put it in your gob. Unless you get a good whack on the back.
Stengline gets it back to Eccles. In the pocket, kicks to the pocket. Perry's the target there, ball to the back. Daffy and Tawney. Still with Daffy. Forced to kick defensively, and he's kicked it out on the fall.
I tell you what, the Crows have carried on this quarter, and he comes off now, Gale, and Aaron James returns. They've done this. Sorry, yeah. They've done this pretty well in this quarter without a big effect from Rashudo. He hasn't had a major influence in this third quarter. He's still got a couple of possessions here, but hasn't really dominated the game out of the middle.
Welsh came over the top. Broderick tried to get a little kick away. Edwards went to ground, and then Bowden cleverly towards Chaffee, who I think was pretty happy to see the boundary line. There's
McLeod and Daffy.
And Daffy.
They reckon the boy McLeod can go pretty well when he wants to.
Gee, Bigland's a big bloke, isn't he, when you see him in that situation?
Yeah, he is a real big cat.
He goes early, Bigland's on McLeod, shoulder, but then they get him. Handball forced under pressure. There's a bit of heat on at the moment. Then Goodwin and Broderick and a boundary throw in.
Oh, but he was stiff. There was somebody there. That is extraordinary. That ability that man just showed to gather this. Watch this. Hang on the move. Oh, that is brilliant stuff.
Just Bigland's pushed his man out, and then comes off Hilton, goes back. Vardy was a bit slow. Back to Welsh. Decides to kick with the left foot in a hurry, and the Tigers have got it, and Knights. Crows should be further in front. They're only 2 goals in front here. They've had a lot of the footy in this quarter. I reckon Danny Frawley would be pretty happy if they can hold this margin.
26 scoring shots to 19. So, look, they've hung in for that type of discrepancy between the two.
Tell you what, if you keep winning close games too, it rubs off, doesn't it? You know you can come from behind.
You start expecting to win the close ones.
Hilton's forced to go in the end. He comes wide to Bitterscombe. Crows have been able to bottle this up. Now Bitterscombe goes with a long kick over the top. This is an important play. James just went to ground. Hart was probably tripped.
Ankle.
No free kick, and then Fiora and Hart get involved, and it'll be a ball up.
It was accidental, but Aaron James was reaching out for the loose ball and just caught the foot of Ben Hart. Pretty stiff not to get a free kick.
Yep. To a goal here for the Tigers would really be a sting, wouldn't it? Because it would give them some momentum, and the Crows would feel as if they've been cheated a bit here.
Well, they've been played over this quarter, haven't they? And if they could just pinch one here.
Edwards gets it from Eccles and then finds a bit of space. He's been good, Edwards.
That's a great kick.
To Perry, a left footer, who'll look up and force the kick in a hurry, but not a bad kick to the pocket. Barty, no, boundary throw in.
He's just gone cold, Barty.
He saw Perry.
Yeah, he got hit, knocked off balance and landed on the point of his shoulder. That's a bit of a worry. He looks like he's in trouble. But Barty's just gone cold. He's dropped a chest mark in the other pocket, and that one he probably would have taken earlier on. Just gets hit as he's off balance.
See if he can pick himself up. Biglands and also Ottens. Gasper to Chaffee. Rashudo front spot. Talked about his quieter third term. He hasn't kicked very well in this range. He's too far out to goal, but he's floated a couple tonight. Now Perry's off the ground, so that doesn't look good for the Crows. He's been a good competitor. Rashudo hooks it right to the goals. Marsh, well done, Ottens, to belt it back. And the Crows stretch their lead to the big margin of the game so far to 13 points.
Well, let's take a look at the kick. Oh, there's Perry. So it's actually the shoulder.
Looks like it's sitting up a bit.
Which you can see that, Jason. Yeah.
Yeah, Hilton bumped him on that one. It wasn't when he hit the ground. That's the one that Hilton made contact with.
Oh, Hilton big try. Stengline did well. Back to Crow. Crow's 52 metres out.
He had to go short.
Well, he had Welsh on his own. And Cameron, it's a free kick to Cameron. That's a poor play by Crow.
Yeah, and learn from that. In his tape he gets during the week.
Biglands, I think he had Biglands all on his own, 30 metres out directly in front if he wanted to go short, and he also had Welsh off to the side.
We think Knights is in trouble too at full forward at the other end of the ground. Dipper's been onto him all night. He doesn't look well, Dipper, Knights.
No, he doesn't. He's just been struggling around all night, he has.
Remember that King and Campbell are out of business. Campbell from the first quarter. Connell a bit up and under. The Crows at 50. Cameron, well read by Tivendale. Tigers have got less than a minute here to get one against the flow. Daffy stood his ground. You never know here. They might be on. Oh, Rashudo got an important
well
touch.
done, Rashudo.
Then has to... Festival gets it back to Robran. Gets it to Goodwin. Good kick. Gets Biglands. Doesn't take the mark. Play on called. Forced to kick. Might be a lucky break because he wouldn't have kicked the goal from where he was. And Welsh has got it.
It was good play by Biglands. I mean, he made the initial error, but he didn't panic. He said, OK, I've made the mistake. Concentrate. Pick up the loose ball. I know I'm under pressure. Quickly hook it back into the attacking zone. And this could be crucial.
How big is this kick?
Well, you go in a 13-point margin, you think, yep, we can get them. All of a sudden, 19 points, just outside of 3 goals. That's a lot of work.
Richmond's last goal at the 13-minute mark of this quarter, so they've dried up. Well, Vardy's been able to do it in the first and second quarters. First quarter on the siren, second quarter late. Welsh has had a good third term. This to give the Crows a huge advantage. As he missed, it's very close. He's hoping and hoping and hoping, and he has missed it. Well, that is a big miss, and the Crows lead at three-quarter time by just 14 points. He's going to kick 6, and the Crows are back in front. Well, he's been the big player, hasn't he, Peter Vardy, with his 6 goals, and the Crows, who kicked 4-7 to 3-2 in that quarter, they wasted a bit. They lead 13-15 to 12-7. So it's a 14-point margin, and remember that Campbell's out of business, King's out of business, and Knight seemingly looks to be a little out of business. It's going to come back.
It was in the act of kicking, yeah, he pushed him in the back, so it has to come back to where the infringement occurred.
It's been important, Broderick, tonight. I think this is probably his best game for a while. And kicks to James. Hart was good enough to make the contest. It's at 50 metres. Crows are trying to bottle it up, and they may get away with this. Little handball by James was terrific. Hart's really, well, he hardly makes a mistake, does he? And then Marsh's kick is a beauty out wide. Stenglein has been pretty impressive. Stops and props in that gluey spot. Goes to half forward. Biglands falls over. Royce Vardy forced the kick. Doesn't get it out far enough. Goes back to Stenglein. Back to Eccles, a little bit up and under to the pocket. A couple of misses there by the Crows when they really weren't, no pressure at all. And then Bowden's away to Tawney. And then Tawney's at centre half back.
Gee, there were no targets up ahead. He had to go sideways.
Gale with the contact lens back in. Oh, that's a spectacular fly, and Connell's got the free kick.
Good decision, because Daffy just took his eye off the ball and tried to ensure that his opponent couldn't get into the contest.
It's been okay, Connell. He's not flash when he gets it, but he's had it a fair bit to Edwards, who's been very, very good tonight. And then kicks to full forward. Is it drifting at the back for Welsh? It doesn't. Good effort by Vardy. Welsh gets a hand on it. Quick kick by Bickley. It's got the legs, and the captain puts them further in front. That is an unlikely source. Bickley kicking the goal.
Hasn't he had an up and down night, Dermot? Some of the things he's done have been brilliant, but he's also made a few glaring errors.
You're not going to plan your team's goal-kicking power on Mark Bickley kicking the winner for you.
Tell you what, Dermot,
albeit it's not the winner.
It's about the same patch of ground where he made a fatal error early in the game, isn't it?
He's even.
Well, I think he's in front because 20 points makes it a very big margin in the context of the match.
Well, pretty tough, particularly we know they're missing a few of their top players. You just wonder where the inspiration will come from.
It's got a lopsided look about the board with scoring shots, hasn't it?
Yep, very.
Come on, the Tigers. Let's see what they're made of. They've shown a lot all year. Tawney's quick kick. Smart works to the front. Knight to the back. A real race on Andrew Kellaway. Just free kick to the Crows.
Against Matthew Knights, that one.
Beefy James just dragged down. Clever play. If he had got away with it, he took the Crows player out of the contest. Worth the try. A little bit of experience there, but just got snipped by the umpy.
Bitterscombe over the top of Crow, and he's given away a free kick.
Yeah, look, that's a pretty good decision too, because he jumped up, put the hand on the shoulder to get the height to punch the ball away.
Crow's kick inside 50. Welsh, well, good mark, Holland. Or rather, Bigland's worked under. That was a clever mark.
This is a good matchup here because Bigland's pushing forward has made sure that Richmond had to drag Holland down there. So it takes away that big, tall marking option in the Richmond forward line. So they're one short up there of what they're normally looking at.
Crowder, Rashudo, Welsh at the back. Little give was terrific by Vardy. Welsh can nearly close it. He's kicked it. They're 26 points up.
They're one off a win. They are 1 goal off a win now, and this could be where we see the Crows march on this season. Look, Welsh is dangerous coming up to the ball. He's not a great set shot. We saw that on three-quarter time, but what he does, he's gone for the ball there. He just follows up. He's very dangerous running back towards goal.
Well, you just wonder, is this the game where everything's going to catch up with the Tigers? If they don't kick the next one, it could turn into a blowout.
Well, suddenly the Crows are away, and as we said, that lopsided scorebook, 30 shots to 19.
Well, Marsh is in the centre now, and the man free that he'll be looking for is on his left hip. You see him there, Prosciutto.
Have a look at the Crows. If you take the Essendon game out, they've kicked 30 goals to 13 in their last quarters in their last 6 weeks. They have been very big finishers. So the challenge is now on the Tigers, and you think Tawney back to Bowden. You do think the Crows are 1 goal away from closing it out, don't you?
Yes.
To Cameron, who tucks it under and then goes for a run and stretches Eccles away and then kicks beautifully out wide to Knight, sits and waits. Oh, little give. Daffy forced to stop and prop a bit, and they've come back out to James. He's just forced to lean back now. Otten's the target. Can Robin get involved? It comes to ground. Bassett did very well for a behind.
You talk about old-fashioned footballers. Nathan Bassett is nothing more than the old-fashioned defender. Just attempts to do everything correctly by the defender's rule book, doesn't he?
That's what his brother played a hell of a game for Port last week in Sydney. Young Scott. Connell to centre wing. Stengline there with Bowden, and a boundary throw in. Well, where are the Tigers going to get it from? That score at the 13-minute mark of the third quarter, when they scored their last goal, well, they led by 2 points at that stage, so there's been a huge turnaround.
Well, Holland's the one who can take a pressure mark, but they've just got him at the other end because Big Lands has pushed forward. They've got more talls than them. Not as dangerous as Richmond's tall players, the Crows, but the fact that they're up there, and if he ends up, Rhett Biglands, with a 6'1" type player on him, you'll just outstretch him. You have to put Holland back there, and that is stretching Richmond.
Fiora's come on for Vardy. That's Royce Vardy. Prosciutto, well done. Found a way through. Little kick. It's been pretty impressive, Eccles. Back to Edwards. Edwards, centering kick. If the ball comes to the back, the Crows are in. Gasper was almost last man. Well done to Chaffey. Tigers need something positive here. Good kick to James. Robin peels off him a bit. Hart and Robin do that well. Hart dropped it. Robin in a bit of a tug-of-war contest there, held up by Ottens. Ball up surely.
They've just got to bite the bullet now and ask Aaron James to do a job for them, which Holland's doing down back.
Yep.
And get Holland back into the forward line, who can mark the ball.
So they've dropped Gale and Hilton right back in the goal square here, the Tigers. Now the Crows have picked it up.
It's a bit of chess at the moment. The thing with the Tigers is that they're going to run out of time before they start getting the moves to pay off.
Ottens went early, and free kick against the Crows there for shepherding. Well, that's a tough call, I would have thought, anyway. Ottens with the free kick. He jumped early, and Marsh was sort of stranded.
Watch Hilton. He's trying to give a shepherd for Brendan Gale. We have Knightsy on screen. He's going to try and shepherd smart. All the little blokes are shepherding for their big blokes on the lead.
Kicks Gale. Oh, Gale. Free kick to Bassett.
He wants the shepherd.
Now that is being imaginative. He just he mistimed the run and didn't have his balance when he went for the sit.
Yeah. That'll be brought up at the next Players Association.
Edwards out wide to Eccles at half back. Eccles, a floating kick to centre wing. Stengline and the Bowden's been a good contest. The Bowden a wonderful mark in the front spot. Well, their good players are going to have to stand tall here now, aren't they? The players that have got them into third position on the ladder are going to have to produce some really good footy. Fiora, a little bit of an up and under, but he gets distance out. Gale's a chance here, and he's got it. He just worked Bassett underneath and got himself into the right spot. Well, what an important kick. To keep the Tigers alive, you would think. Still plenty of time.
We've seen him do a lot of things in pressure situations for the Tigers. More often than not these days in the close games, he's playing a kick behind defence and taking the marks that really hold play up and win the close ones for them. This time, they've asked him to go forward, take a couple of marks and kick a few goals, which he did a lot more prolifically early in his career.
198 centimetres. Nathan Bassett comes in at 190, so there's a fair bit of height difference there. If he can keep pushing forward, and get those high bombs. He's almost better when the ball drops down onto him. On a lead, the ball spearing in, you'd back Bassett in, just have the agility to spoil.
Gone back to the Michael Holding run-up too.
Good kick, played a lot of footy at centre half forward.
Twice he's kicked over 30 goals in the season. As you say, he's been a good goal kicker. Right on 50, and he's leaned back and kicked the goal. There's still a chance.
The flame is still burning.
Dunn's brought the crowd factor back in too, because the Richmond faithful are here in their thousands. It's a pretty good crowd, and 85% to 90% will be Richmond.
They're trying to free up Rory Hilton. He's in the centre bounce next to Brad Otten's there, hoping he can jump over Marsh. He'll get it here, Hilton.
Next goal absolutely crucial. Hilton's handball. Connell held his ground, but Daffy got rid of him. Tivendale, Rashudo in hard. Daffy's little kick, Edwards. It's called play on here. James, little give was okay to Fiora, to Daffy, 50 out. Can he find the target? It's close. It's coming back. He's just missed.
Oh, gee, that would have nearly brought the roof down. The crowd were getting so involved while that ball was in the air.
There's Connell. I hope the roof doesn't come down tonight, by the way.
Copped a smack in the head there, Connell, at that last centre bounce. Took a while to recover.
32,959. Pretty good crowd. Over 30,000 for this game. 32,959. Crows 18 points in front. I guess also, Dermot, and Jason, they can't sit on this now, the Crows. They've got to keep attacking, don't they?
You can't defend a lead of this size at this point in a match.
They need to kick at least another 2 goals, the Crows.
Connell at half-back. Well, they've had their goals at regular intervals tonight, haven't they? If they keep playing the sort of footy they've played, they should come eventually.
He's going to be pretty red in that eye very soon, Connell.
Crow went early, and then Cameron to mop up. Runs his full measure in the end, and then a terrific kick to Fiora. It had the depth. Fiora in the heart of the centre square, breaks the McLeod tackle and takes off, and then takes off again. Can kick a famous goal. He hooks it badly, and Robin's going to mark it.
He just fatigued, didn't he? He just ran so hard, he fatigued on the kick and couldn't control it.
Dipper, your rates are going to go up if you keep calling from the boundary line. Good kick by Connell. This could be costly because it's going to come back the other end.
Walsh on a good lead.
Goodwin's got him. Now, Welsh probably just too far out, isn't he?
Yeah, he leans back on his set shot, so he's going to have to dish off somewhere. He'll look for big lanes.
He's went the talk.
Well, gee, and Ottens is in the box seat, and he's taken the mark. That's a poor effort by Welsh.
Ooh, look for the runner.
Oh, Rory Hilton.
Oh, gee, Marsh comes in.
Hilton on the wing.
Oh,
not going to get there.
Doesn't really get far from James. Chaffee, well done. Still with Chaffee. He's going to kick it to some Crows, though. And a terrific mark taken by Stenglein. It was a poor kick by Chaffee. Back to Rashudo, who was flat-footed, but he gives it all he's got to fall forward. Little push coming there from Bigland. Should have been a free kick to the Tigers, not. Ball back in, and Hilton's away. So the Tigers are breathing again. Hilton at half-back, looks up. He's got Fiora short, and he's got Bowden short. Stops and props. Bickley's held his ground pretty well. Bitterscombe gets rid of him. Goes in short to Broderick. Running hard. Still Broderick. Then a little floater. Not a good kick, but it all... Caught in the end, James could have got a touch to it, but then it bounced off Holland.
Rory's got to make up his mind. If he's going to go for a run and kick it long, because sometimes his forwards just get all mixed up.
Holland has moved. He swapped with Aaron James. Aaron James has gone back to big lands now.
They had to do it. They had to be. They had to take a positive attack on the approach on the ball.
It's a blood draw.
Yep.
Hey, Dipper, I'm sitting with a couple of forwards, and they haven't been mixed up all year. There's Connell.
I told you, got a smack in that right eye, and that's bright red there down there, Dipper boy.
Kim Coster on for his first run.
First run tonight, Coster. Well, you reckon he'd be keen, wouldn't he?
He's with fresh legs.
Daryl Hart spoke to our boys about the fresh legs at three-quarter time.
The only thing that'll stop Costa running is pins and needles.
So boundary throw in, half-forward, Tigers in attack. Broderick's been terrific. Hilton just made a quick error and then gets back and floats it to Gale. Well done, Bassett, but Tawney's onto it. Stops and props. Handball back, Watch gone. Half threw it away. Tivendale goes to ground.
That's
oh, he
sloppy.
was lucky.
That's sloppy.
Back.
Tawney in trouble. Well, I thought he was lucky, Tivendale. I thought he...
There was no need for the Adelaide player to do that because he'd gone to ground. All he had to do was keep his feet and trap the ball. But Brett James he just jumped. Well, he doesn't jump into it, but he goes to ground on his back, and you can't do that.
Tell you what he can do. He can kick a footy.
Oh, Tivendale's got beautiful touch off the foot.
50 out.
Beautiful touch.
2-goal game.
Oh, Tôi đến Old Trafford bởi vì tôi phát giác ra một tiếng động rất là kỳ cục ở cái máy xe của tôi. Nó kêu tích, tích, tích. Tôi nói cho họ biết điều đó và họ bảo là cái bộ phận tappers đang có một chút trở ngại. Tôi cần cái xe của tôi sửa trong một ngày, nhưng họ chỉ sửa mất có vài tiếng đồng hồ thôi. They are that good. They understand.
Look at the Tigers. They've won 5 games this year by 12 points a run. And have a look at that. Since 96, they've won 15 out of 20 in 2-goal games. And that's where we're at right now.
Rory Hilton in the middle of the ground.
Well, we're going to get that grandstand finish perhaps. The Tigers are coming home hard. Broderick's got a free kick. They're getting a lot of free kicks. Quick kick by Daffy to fall forward. Front spot was Gale. Belted away. Tawney. Still Tawney. He's going to kick a goal. He has. It's back to a goal.
Sure, I saw something here last week. What do you think? There's a lot to choose from. This one.
Centre-bounce takeaway here. If the Tigers get it, I'll back them to go on and win by a couple, I reckon.
Plenty of time, isn't there? There's heaps of time. Marsh just won the tap. Stenglein to Goodwin. Stopped and propped, did all right, and then unloads to centre-half forward. Eccles, huge fly, nearly the mark. Welsh off the ground. It's a free kick for the Tigers. Gee, they've had a run of free kicks, haven't they? The Crows are undisciplined, or the umpires are finding the right ones for the Tigers at the moment.
Plenty of time left there. 9:40 on the clock still.
James, Welsh has got an arm on it. Bitterscombe. Cameron's been pretty important. Sweeps the handball wide to Ottens. Goes back. Chaffee. Kicks into the centre. Good mark. It fell short, and Dragicevic has had a quiet one. Broderick's played a real game. Beautiful kick to Gale. Just went to ground. Robran. Gale pushes out. Bowden. Still Bowden. Smart, who we haven't seen much of in the last quarter. Wonderful first 3 quarters, and his 200 finds the line. Got McLeod deep in defence, the Crows. Smart back there. Just no drive from the centre at the moment.
No, 5-1 out of the centre, Richmond's favour in this final quarter, and that's where they kicked them. They've just got straight away pressure from the centre bounce in the forward line when they get it there.
Tawney's got a couple of those out of the centre. Bowden pushes, he kicks. Robran, and then goes to the line and finds it in a boundary throw-in.
Yeah, that was a clever kick under the pressure of the circumstances. He just realised he didn't have much of an option. Keep it low, kick it firm and towards the boundary.
Gee, you mentioned that Welsh kick forward where he attempted an undisciplinary torpedo, which Ottens took. Has that impacted on the game?
Robran and Broderick. I wonder if Rashudo could impose himself here. He's been okay, but...
Look, he hasn't had a bad night, but all of a sudden, the Crows on ballers, the supplies dried up.
He's gone quiet after half-time. Had plenty of it until half-time. He's only on 20 possessions now. He was in the teens at half-time.
Robran can't get a crack at it. Gale did well. James's handball. There's the Roo. Finds it now. He's often good in the clutch, Rashudo. The kick to centre wing. Bitterscombe. Cameron, I've liked his game. Well done, Crow. Kept his eyes on it to Bickley. Can McLeod break it? Eccles in trouble. Little toe poke in the end. Well done. Otten's front spot. Bickley fighting hard. Ball comes out. Eccles was very good, but the handball had too much. Crow. Back to Welsh, goes back to Goodwin, he's a left footer, he can kick a goal, he has hit the post. Oh, it was like a putt from 15 feet that was coming back and coming back.
Oh, dare you say it, handy point.
Well,
hey, handy point.
Maybe with 2 minutes to go, a handy point. Oh boy.
Oh, he liked it too.
7 points the margin. I bet you're sitting on the edge of your chairs back in Adelaide. Live game at 7 o'clock on a Friday night. Tawney at half-back. Up to centre wing almost. 15-16 to 15-9.
He's got to wait for things to unfold for him, Tawney. He sees Aaron James push forward to the wing. That's what Aaron has done from full-back. He's been willing to run forward and create. Dragged his man up the ground.
Kicks to 50. Gale, big fly. Robran was good at the back. Dragicevic has had a quiet one. He's normally a good kick. Now Bowden can unload.
He played on. The umpire's call played on.
He's a long kick. He wants to... Well done, James. He just stood his ground. Oh, what a kick. What a kick.
This man, Paul Broderick, has just about been the Tigers' best player tonight. He's come on, he's had 23 touches, kicked a couple of goals already, and he's lining up for his third. Boy, gee, Joel Bowd. Oh, he drilled it in low, he knew that. He got himself in a difficult situation, and he extricated himself beautifully in the end.
Well, Broderick kicked 2 of their 3 goals in the third quarter when the flow was against them, wasn't it? I mean, he stood up in the third term when everything else was against them. This to put the Tigers within a point. He's done it. Brought his spirit, you feel right with Richmond now, the way he played it.
16. They believe, don't they?
Yep, they're back to a point. They trailed by 4.5 goals in this last quarter. Hilton to Chaffee, and right now the Tigers are favourites, I think. To half forward, Holland nearly. Well done, Bassett. Crows have shown tremendous spirit all night. It would be disappointing if they fell away here. James to Bassett. Oh, he's coughed it up to Hilton, who wants to go on, and he does. He can't quite get around Goulburn. Goes in short. Knights, still with Knights. Hooks it back, good kick. Holland's going to put them in front.
Well, it's the little men of Richmond now. They're not exactly, wouldn't call their running players running through the line as breaking up. They're just out crumbing the Crows at the moment. They've got little men at the fall of the ball everywhere, getting front and centre, winning that possession and just kicking it forward.
You just couldn't see this happening 10 or 15 minutes ago. Unbelievable. They've come from 26 points down early on, 3.5-minute mark of this last quarter.
Holland to put the Tigers in front. In this quarter.
That's killing him.
And Hilton and Tawney have got 2 each, so 4 between them. Biglands. Hilton again. Third time for him. 7th for the Tigers. Ben Hart gave a little push on Fiora. And now it's the Crows' good players, and Hart's gone. We haven't seen that all night. And they're on here, the Tigers. Dragicevic is in the pocket. Bassett gets back. Well done, because Dragicevic was away. And you almost think now, we said 1 more goal to the Crows 15 minutes ago. 1 more goal to the Tigers just about puts the Crows out of it.
Nervous Crow supporter there. Because you just see Richmond's small players, they've just been winning the ball at ground level, front and centre.
Gale lays it down, Smart. He said that milestones have been unlucky for him in the build-up to this game. Well done, Eccles to Smart. Well, that's confidence on the glue pot. A second bounce. Stretching away, up and under, kick to the pocket. Vardy hasn't seen it all quarter. Marsh, good contest, boundary throw-in. Dipper, what about the Tiger faithful here? Have they made a difference, the crowd?
Bruce, the Tiger faithful, fever pitch down here. Unbelievable with the game we're seeing at the moment. And, you know, we're just waiting for the last couple of minutes of this game just to stretch out. Fantastic game of footy.
17-9 to 15-16. 5 points in it.
This is where McLeod's important, these types of takeaways. Only 2 possessions this quarter.
Ottens has had it for a while. Forced to go back. Quick kick by Bitterscombe. Every ball important here. Every 50-50 contest. Costa hasn't been able to touch it yet. Goes to ground. Daffy's got him. Ball up.
That could have been touchy because he didn't appear to make too much of an effort to get that ball clear of the contest.
Bickley only 2 possessions this quarter. Rashudo 4. And as I said, McLeod 2. So 8 possessions between their 3 on-ballers in the middle gang, so it's not helping.
James forward, Eccles a backhander. Bickley back to Goodwin, was touched off the boot, so they're going to have to go. Cameron was awkward kick, and the Roo took a chance, and it hasn't paid off. And Dragicevic gets it, and then kicks it to Gale. Robin made the spoil. Knights, can he do something magical? Hanging on to it, holding it, pushes back to centre half forward. Wonderful mark. Terrific mark, because Edwards had a real crack at it.
Well, I've got to query the tactics of Nigel Smart there. The last couple of times the ball has come down, he's just tried to corral Matthew Knights and not let him have a shot on goal. He just sat back and didn't want to overcommit. He needed to put pressure on because Matthew Knights is clever enough to create something. He just chipped it into a very attacking position for Dragicevic.
He's a beautiful kick, Dragicevic. He's had a very quiet night. 2 kicks so far. Broderick off, who's been, I guess, the hero tonight. Dragicevic to give the Tigers a big lead.
He's missed it.
He has missed it, so it's a goal
Interesting move here because Broderick took himself off. Bruce is in front of me at the moment, just trying to catch his breath. He's called for the bench and says, I want to come off.
Big miss.
Just run himself out of steam.
Well, Biglands is the only target ahead of Bassett. I reckon he stepped over the line then, Bassett.
Robran in the front spot in the end. Ball comes to ground. Rashudo.
Edit corridor.
Has to kick long to centre half forward. Good fly at the back from Chaffee. Bickley, Chaffee, good contest. Now Knights goes in deep to try and hold them up. Crow, Robran, can't get a handball away. Smart's push forward, Crow's push forward, he has to get it out. Crow, it's forced forward, comes back to Goodwin. A good hook by Goodwin, right to the goals. Well done, Gasper, because Vardy was smelling it.
Gee, I'll tell you what, if he had worked a bit harder, he could nearly have pushed him under the ball and let it bounce through. I thought the ball, it was a great kick.
He's upset, that fella. He thought it was in the back.
Kellaway's got it.
That's too easy. When you're putting pressure on and you need to score, that kick in is too easy.
Well, they're going to slow the game down. They'll look to chip it around now, the Tigers. This is where you've just got to man up. Umpire telling him to kick the ball.
Players don't know how long there's to go. There's 26.5 minutes on the clock. They probably can see. Hard at the back. They all went to Crows. Rashudo's dug deep, hasn't he, in the last few minutes? Hooks back. Effective kick. Bickley to Crow. Holland to chase. Crow's little one. Good kick. Well, do you reckon there's any pressure on Welsh right now? There was a bit of pressure at three-quarter time. You can double that.
Well, don't worry about the siren that was sounding before he had the kick at three-quarter time. This one puts them back in the game, knowing they're in the dying moments of the game, whether there's 30 seconds or 3 minutes left, still getting their nose in front.
The Roos lifted Rashudo, hasn't he, the last 2-3 minutes?
Absolutely. You know what will impact on his thought process here? He knows his kicks normally swing right to left.
Oh, he's missed it.
He's kicked
that came back.
He's kicked it, it's a goal.
Oh, that went left to right and snuck in.
He's kicked it on his instep. That's why it went left to right. It went nowhere near where he was aiming.
That was anything but a confident kick. And after missing that one late in the third quarter, he probably thought, gee, I can't afford to miss this one. All of a sudden you get those negative thoughts in your head. Look at the great play from Rashudo. He brought the ball back. Bickley timed the handball well.
Good skills from the big fella, Crow.
It certainly was. Crow just delivered the ball beautifully to Welsh, and that wasn't a good strike. But it somehow snuck in.
After a horror start, because he was pretty ordinary early on, wasn't he?
The lead has changed hands on 13 occasions tonight. For the Tigers to win, they needed a 14. The Crows have done well to get back. McLeod, look away handball. Rashudo getting a lot of touches when they need it. To 50. How important is this play? Little give. Edwards keeps his feet and then kicks to the goal square. 1-on-1. Vardy. Well done, Gasper. Welsh has kicked 4. Vardy, you little beauty.
What about the handball?
Clever. He knew he was there. He waited for the full rotation of the spin and then he gave it.
Well, initially he thought, well, I've got the ball here, and if I can ride this tackle from Darren Gasper, I'll run into an open goal. But Gasper hung on tight. He did very well. But Scott Welsh, he just worked back to the square, and he's kicked 4.
3 in the last quarter.
Have a look at this. He hangs on. They both hang on. Now he beats him here. The ball bounces kindly, thinks if I can ride the tackle, I'm home, but I can't. And there's Scott Welsh on hand.
He looked to Scotty Welsh before he got turned to him. He knew exactly that he had to get about a 270-degree turn there on the swing.
All of a sudden, they've got to score twice, the Tigers.
Welsh has kicked 3 goals in the last quarter and 4 after half-time. McLeod, suddenly they've found a way in the centre, haven't they? Wanting a ball, going. Rashudo's been outstanding. Goodwin closes the game with a goal. 50 out and hooks it and misses. 17-18 to 17-10.
This is a great game of footy tonight.
Tell you what, both teams have showed a lot of character, haven't they? I mean, we had the Tigers dead, we had the Crows dead, and right now, the Tigers need a minor miracle. Otten's front spot, Robran at the back. They've got to run it down and kick a goal in a big hurry. Tivendale's kicked wide.
Now the Crows will slow it down.
Ben Hart's got it.
Here we go with our Coca-Cola people. I mean, they're very close to 50 grand at the moment, I think.
Lisa's within 2 points of getting 50,000, but she'll get 2 grand final tickets if the siren goes now. It's not a bad one.
You can go back to Ben Hart. They've got to man up the Tigers. This is where you can't have someone sitting a kick behind play. You have to go, or they'll do this all night. Whoever is loose, there's got to be a Tiger loose somewhere. You've got to come and pick your man up.
How big is this win for the Crows tonight? This is just huge, isn't it?
This is what you can launch from, isn't it? I mean, the Crows are sitting with 5 wins.
Look at this, they'll go backwards now. There's nobody on the mark.
This is going to be their 6th win for the year, so they
No
push
team
themselves up now.
No team in the history of the AFL-VFL has lost their first 5 games and made the finals. The Crows might write a bit of history this year. Edwards, still with Edwards, and then goes in towards full forward. Big fly.
That's a mark.
And Stenglone's taken it. And the Crows have won it.
Kick the goal, son. Yeah, McLeod points him in the face and says, kick the goal.
Well, it's a famous victory, really. A great game. The Tigers' brave winning run has come to an end, but Adelaide will make it 6 wins from their last 8. Only the Bombers
The one that missed the grand final tickets
has kicked them. Stenglone kicks for goal and hits the post, and the Crows have won by how far, Dipper?
by 7 points, I think.
9 points.
9 points,
Dipper.
yeah, 9 points. Sorry, boys.
The Crows have won a famous victory here. It was a great game. 17-19 to 17-10. And Nigel Smart, who played in the first game against Hawthorn back in 1991, stood Jason Dunstall and now plays his 200th match. And the Crows have won the game here at Colonial Stadium.
Well, the law of averages says when it gets down to the close ones, you win as many as you lose, or you lose as many as you win. And probably the Tigers were due to lose a real nail-biter, weren't they? I mean, they were gallant in defeat. Nigel Smart there sitting atop of his teammates there. He had a super game too. I mean, he hasn't just scratched across the line, Nigel Smart. He was fantastic for the first 2.5 quarters. Went a bit quiet thereafter. Well done, Smarty.
Well, you can flirt with close ones for so long, and in the end, I guess they all catch up. Gary Ayres took a lot of stick in Adelaide in the first 5 weeks. Not only were they losing the Crows, but the Bombers were winning. The Bomber Thompson's team were winning. Hutto, go on, Hutto, get in with Nigel.
Nigel, what do you think, mate? What about that? What a win from behind. It's the best 200 I reckon you could have. It's just a fantastic effort. And what a great side. Did you think you were gone at the end? We're never gone. We're always going to fight back. And that's what we did. Shows all our spirit for the club. Thank you.
Well done, Smarty.
We're never gone.
Yeah, it was good on him.
I tell you what, you say they set records. There's big Garfield Ayres. Peter Curran, ex-Hawthorn half-forward with him.
I just want to go back quickly. Mark Thompson, and good on him, was making a sensational start with Geelong. Everybody was saying how good it was to have a new coach at Geelong. He was Norton 5 following the Messiah, Malcolm Blight. It's about as low as you can go, I reckon.
Yep.
And they've won 6 out of the next 8. And Hutto, he's not. He might have been low 8 weeks ago. He'd be pretty good tonight, Gary Ayres.
Well, what about that, Gary? What a game.
Yeah, it was a classic game, I suppose, because both sides knew how much they had to fight for. But I am just enormously proud of my boys tonight. They've taken a big step forward to gain some respect.
What were you thinking when Richmond came back and got ahead?
Oh, well, you just hope the guys hang in, and they did. Great turnaround.
Thanks, Gary.
Good on him. Good on him.
He's fired up. It's emotional, isn't it?
It sure is.
He's been doing a bit of talking in the box tonight, Garfield. Well done,
a bit
mate.
croaky on the old throat. A lot of emotion there as well.
All of a sudden, you just think they've got the win. We may be a chance of going somewhere now.
Well, for sure, no doubt about that. Hey, Dipper, you're not giving the big money away, but I think there might be a little prize for Lisa.
Yeah,
Actually,
absolutely, Bruce. We saw a fantastic game tonight. Congratulations, Lisa. 2 grand final tickets, and maybe the Crows are going to be there.
Yep, hopefully we will. Well done to the Crows. Thanks, Channel 7 and Coca-Cola.
You were so close tonight.
Oh, heart-wrenching.
Terrific. And Andrew Bell, made 42 points, but the boys gave you a game.
Yeah, thanks, Dipper. It was good. Pity Lisa just didn't get the money. She was so close all night.
You finished off with the Coca-Cola packs. Bruce, next week, $55,000, matey.
A lot of money, isn't it, Dipper? Terrific game. Well, Richmond will be disappointed, but the Tigers, they showed the grit that they've showed all year, but in the end, they're beaten by a better team on the night. And certainly the Crows now have got a chance of doing what seemed impossible after 5 consecutive losses, and that's make the finals. Back with more right after this. Well, sang with a bit of gusto, there's no doubt about that tonight. Peter Vardy pointing the finger and Nigel Smart letting it loose. 17-19 to 17-10 in a game where the lead changed hands on 13 occasions, and Peter Vardy was responsible for 5 of those game-leading changes. He kicked 6, Welsh got 4, 3 in the last quarter. Broderick was terrific at nights at 3 as well. Well, Peter Vardy's down in the rooms with Hutto right now. Hutto, he's the man of the moment, I guess.
Yes, he is, Bruce. Bruce said 5 times you kicked goals tonight. It actually put Adelaide back in front. Would have been one of the most amazing games you've played, probably.
Yeah, it was pretty tight, and as you said, it was goal for goal, and Welsh's last goal just put us in front, which is pretty handy.
Did you think, I mean, obviously you've got to stay positive, but did you think you were gone near the end?
Yeah, I was getting pretty, up in the forward, getting a bit frustrated. It wasn't coming down too often, but it worked out in the end, so we're all pretty happy.
I think the boys upstairs have got a few questions for you.
Yep.
Peter, it's Jason Dunsell here. Look, your match tonight was brilliant. Your conversion, the finishing of the goals, even though you missed a couple of marks in the third quarter, did you just feel like that if you got hold of the ball tonight, you'd kick a goal?
Just your conversion tonight?
Yeah, been doing a bit of work at training, just trying to make sure I make the best of all the opportunities I get, and tonight it came off.
Peter, Dermot Brereton here. Early on in the game, you were against Rory Hilton. He ran off you a few times. He gave you the slip. You had to hurt him on the scoreboard, though, didn't you?
Rory Hilton was on you early, but and he got away a couple of times, but then you hurt him when the ball came back.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, if our defence can get him on the rebound, it makes it easier for the forwards. I mean, obviously the forwards have to put pressure on, but on the odd occasion on the rebound, it hurts them.
Where does this leave the club now? Obviously in pretty good shape after a pretty ordinary start.
We've had, probably 7 pretty good weeks now, I reckon, and we're just building and sneaking along, so hopefully next week at home we can have another win and just keep continuing on.
Did you feel tonight, though, was sort of one of those matches where you're playing side that is in the top 8 that you really had to win if you're going to make the final?
Yeah, we really rated Richmond, and for us it was a big test to come over here and play in front of their crowd. It was good for us to see where we're at, and as we said, we came up pretty well, and we're all pretty happy with it.
I tell you what, Hutto, there's a lot talked about team rules. With Danny Forty, Peter Vardy copped one from Gary Ayres early in the year too, coming to training late and missing a match. So Ayresy too has had his own team rules, hasn't he, this year? I don't think Pete can hear me, unfortunately.
No, Peter, Bruce was just saying about the team rules of your coach, where you missed a training earlier in the year, and so the discipline and how things have turned around.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was the first game. A little bit of an incident, I guess you could say, but after that I was told I had to knuckle down, and so I have, and slowly the form's coming along. So, mate, it was a good thing.
Well, it wasn't slowly tonight, it was quickly. Well done. Congratulations, thanks for joining us.
Cheers, thanks, mate. Thanks, boys.
Sorry to bring that up, but I mean, we've talked about Danny's team rules. Yep. Gary Ayres also has had plenty of team rules as well.
Pretty hard man, Ayres. The one thing I'd say about Peter Vardy, I'll ask you, Jason, because you're the old full forward. He used to be fantastic when the ball came overhead, running towards goal, pick it up, run into the open goal. He's almost better now, leading up the ground from the goal square.
Yeah, you're right. He's added another dimension to his game. He's actually a more complete forward now. And I thought he handled that question very well, Bruce.
Perhaps the interpreter, Hutto, just watered it down a bit. Goodwin was good as well, wasn't he? I mean, Goodwin was a very important player again tonight.
He was. He did some very clever things tonight. This one was extremely classy. I mean, the long, low, penetrating kick. Now, he really split 2 defenders to hit Welsh there, and that was a certain goal. And
we just relief too, because he was on Wayne Campbell to start with. Campbell got injured, so mentally he felt good about his game after that.
It's a dynamic left foot, isn't it?
It is. It almost brought Welsh into the game, to be honest. He couldn't find the ball until then. What about the Tiger comeback? It was spirited. It was everything we've seen from them this year, hasn't it? And in the end, we thought it was going to take them to a victory. The Gale goal was sort of the first of it, wasn't it?
Well, we didn't know where it was going to come from, but all of a sudden they lifted themselves off the deck. They were down on manpower. They got the crowd behind them. They kicked a couple. They edged their way back in. And all of a sudden, they just dominated play. They had a 15-minute period there in the middle of the last quarter where they were unstoppable. And even when they got themselves in a jam, they somehow dug a way out. And Paul Broderick, who was fantastic tonight, kicking a goal there, you couldn't see the Crows stopping them.
That put them, Holland puts them in front. That put them within a kick. And at this stage, it looks just repetitious as going from one back to the centre, back to the goals, and they had 4 unanswered goals. This was a critical moment. A terrific mark by Dragicevic, had a quiet night, 5 points in front, 4 minutes to go, and misses.
It just stopped the momentum. I mean, that miss there just brought the momentum to a halt, and all of a sudden the Crows weren't a couple of goals down. They were only 1 goal down, and they still had that hope.
I think it's probably not unfair to say had he kicked that, it would have been almost impossible at that point for the Crows to get back. The get back they did late, and Welsh was the man who got the goals.
Absolutely. Up until that point in time, they had the takeaways from the centre bounce. And then the Crows started with Rashuto. He got the ball there to Crow. Welsh got this goal there.
Oh, look at that.
That's a pressure kick, wasn't it?
He's kicked it inside out, and it didn't start where he wanted it. And this one, the full spin, Good presence of mind just to dish off the Welsh. And he worked himself back into the game, Scotty Welsh.
It was an exciting finish.
That was a great game all night, wasn't it? What about the Mitsubishi Motors match stats? What are they going to tell us tonight, do you think?
I would suggest they're going to be pretty even. The only great difference there is the inside 50. The Crows 69 times to the Tigers 53.
Turnovers, just a few more for the Tigers, percentage-wise, 6 in 27.
But those inside 50s as well, we're talking about a team that at the end of the day had 36 scoring shots to 27, so they were always going to be inside 50 a lot more. Would have been a travesty of justice if they hadn't have won Adelaide, but gee, I'm glad it was such a close game. It was very interesting.
Well, the Tigers, as we said earlier, they've found a way, haven't they, in those close matches, but tonight...
It's got to even itself out.
Yeah, and now they come back to the ruck a bit, 8 and 5 and not much percentage, so it tightens up, that's for sure. Looking for... Who's giving the votes? You are, Jason, aren't you?
I drew the short straw.
I'm looking forward to it. We'll take a break and we'll find out what's happening right after this. Proudly flying that, and there'll be a lot of people back in Adelaide that are pretty pleased with their team tonight. Warming down. We saw Imperi a moment ago go to the showers, who copped a nasty one.
Yeah, he copped that whack on the shoulder, the bump from Rory Hilton, and that was where he did his shoulder with the right shoulder, I think it was, yeah, and it looked like he popped the AC on it.
And Campbell and King, pretty serious injuries may be for the Tigers. Mitsubishi Motors Player of the Year, how'd you go, Jason?
It was a tough one, Bruce, I've got to tell you. I ended up giving one vote to Paul Broderick. I thought when he was injected into the game, he was brilliant. Kicked 3 goals, really engineered the comeback. Peter Barty with his 6 goals, well, that was the difference between the two sides. Now, no disrespect to Jason Tawney, had a very good game, but Mark Rasciuto, who was great in the first half, quiet in the third quarter, but did he come good when it had to be won in the middle at the end?
Now, Mum, you've got a lovely daughter now. Stuck it away from me again, mate. There we go. Well done there, young fella. You all right, eh? Tell us about the game. Tell us about what you thought about the game. Oh, I loved it. Best match, right? Come over here, come over to the back of the game. Did you think you had a chance of winning in the last quarter? Oh, they were going all right. Yeah, went down and that's... well, the last 5 or 10 minutes there, they were struggling. Had a chance to win the grand final. Yeah, definitely. Definite chance. We're back. Well, you heard it. The Sleeping Giant has awoken. They're back. All right.
Good on you. I think Tipper, even when he's not working now, goes out the back and gets a kiss after the game. Yeah, makes out as an exit poll. He's enjoying it, isn't he?
He's just a man of the people.
Yeah, no doubt about that. The ladder. Now, the Tigers were 3rd before tonight. They had a little percentage over Kangaroos, probably have lost that. And the Crows are knocking on the door. Now, the Crows have got their percentage to 99, and the Kangaroos have flip-flopped with the Tigers for the moment, remembering who they've got a tough game. But so Adelaide now, if you look now, they've caught the field, haven't they? And they're in there.
Yeah, well, they started at 98% tonight, so they've gone up 1, and if they can just get above 100, you see every team in the 8 are the only teams over 100, so it's just about where they should be at the moment.
Well, after round 5, they were 16th and looking pretty bad. Now, the weekend's matches, great matches. If they're as good as tonight, they'll be terrific. But Melbourne play Carlton tomorrow. Melbourne have got good recent history against the Blues.
They have. That's going to be a great contest. Melbourne a bit disappointing last week, but the Blues are, well, they're a juggernaut at the moment.
Last chance for the Lions, you think? If they lose that, they're sort of out of touch, do you think?
They have to win, and they've got the West Coast at a very depleted stage.
No Gehrig or Peter Material coming. The big game. Now, this is not Saturday night, Essendon. Port Adelaide Collingwood's actually Saturday night, and Essendon Kangaroos is at the MCG on Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, well, that's going to be a fantastic battle, isn't it? The Kangas and the Dons. You just got to go with the Dons there. Port Adelaide Collingwood. That's going to be a big clash. I think perhaps Port Adelaide at home. I think they might find a bit.
What about the game below it? Fremantle and St Kilda. Maybe the Dockers at home. Geelong and the Bulldogs should be a good one at Colonial Stadium, and Hawthorn have their chance to jump up now with a win over Sydney up in Sydney.
Yeah, and I guess Sydney have probably lost contact at 4-8, but Rodney Eads saying if we win, we've still got a bit of a chance. But without doubt, the big game is on Sunday afternoon between the Bombers and also the Kangaroos. It is, no doubt about that. Been terrific again tonight. We'll see you next Friday night. I hope you have enjoyed it. In the end, it was the Crows over the Tigers in a beauty.